welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. Sorry we're running a little bit late, but happy Thursday. Hope you had a great week. We got a jam-packed type of day for you. And look, we are now 3 days away from the Ravens and Bills kicking off on Sunday night in Buffalo. The NFL divisional round will start on Saturday. Great slate of games. Today, though, we're going to have Kadri joining us here soon to talk about the game coming up between the Bills and the Ravens, and then a couple other points around the NFL, specifically, though, with this game in Buffalo. A couple of national media members having the debate, who has more to lose in this game, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. And then we're going to talk another talking point of probably one of the most polarizing players in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers had his comments on this game with the Ravens and the Bills of how it almost feels like a lose-lose for certain players. So we'll get into all that and more. And then as we continue on, we'll have Zach's browsing history on what he's found on the internet today. We'll touch on some of the other games as well, including that game with the team right down the road, Zach, the Commanders, going against, I guess, the United States. The darlings of the U.S. is the Detroit Lions. I feel like that's the team. Yeah. So we'll get into that game, and then we'll switch over to baseball for a little bit. And we talked yesterday about a little bit of MLB Hot Stove Happy Hour, so tune in if you guys missed it. But then there was another list that came out just on top third baseman. And maybe there's a certain third baseman in Baltimore that didn't crack that list.
Yeah, it must have just been a random assortment of third basemen because it clearly wasn't the top 10. Certain somebody was not on it. That's just what I got to say on it.
Just saying. So there's a whole lot to dive into this. So again, we appreciate you guys and appreciate everything that's going on. And let us know where you're tuning in from. It's an exciting time. And also, it's Joe Flacco's birthday. Happy birthday.
40th
for Joe.
Still one of the prettiest deep balls in all of football, even at 40.
You know what? Two things are going to happen with that deep ball. It's going to be either a magnificent touchdown or a close your eyes type of pick. Yeah. It's one or the other. But he does both in a beautiful, magnificent, elegant
I would
fashion.
Not be surprised if he's sticking around next year at some team. He's not a bad bridge quarterback right now, especially if you got a young guy. I would not I think Joe Flacco, if Flacco would like to return, I think a team will give it to him next year.
I think so too. It's hard to find. As we've seen, it's hard to find a serviceable backup quarterback. And you can ask a bunch of teams about that and how much that impacts and can impact your team if your star were to go down. So we'll get into all of that. Appreciate you all tuning in as always, and appreciate our channel members. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. But I think it's time.
Yeah,
we got our guest lined up here. I know it's a little bit more naked in this studio, just Zach and I today. It's definitely quieter without Rocco.
Much quieter.
And Kevin is somewhere lost in the Locked On Ravens space. But we do got our recurring guy coming on here, former Baltimore Raven, Super Bowl champion, health and fitness guru for us with Missile Training and missiletraining.com. Let's bring on our friend and yours, Kadri Ismail. Q, are you there? There he is.
I am here alive and well. It was a dusting of snow that tried to unrail my drive up here, but my Syracuse abilities to overcome and adapt kicked in. See, I was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. They didn't realize that when they drafted me, I also was very adept at driving to and from practice because of my abilities to drive up at Syracuse. And what do we average? My 5 years, I think I averaged 150 inches of snow a year with all kind of blizzards. I was solid. I was rock solid. It was good.
Rock solid. So, hey, you're ready now. You're ready for just like a flurry of maybe just a centimeter of snow at the moment, but you're ready nonetheless, Q. You know what? I know you got some fitness things for us in the future, but maybe with weather and you feel like you can't get out and about, that can be your hint for helping people stay in shape this offseason. And unfortunately, no Brad today, no Kevin, no Rocco, but we do want that fitness clip Hey, Q, should we start with a little ball, though? There's a big game apparently on Sunday night. Talk about cold, man. 8 degrees
Yeah.
in Buffalo. What's the coldest game you've ever played in, Q?
Whew, there were two games that really came to mind, and a third that was interesting. One, the third game was my final year as a player, 2002. I was playing with Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. We traveled up to Denver, and Peyton was going through pregame warmup, like the air, of course, typical Denver air, nice crisp air. Boom, going through our warmup, all that. Game starts, all good. We, every now and then go to the sideline with the hand warmers and the propane jet tanks of heat. Well, that second half came, and all of a sudden, that wet snow started falling and sticking, and my feet started going numb. So that was one where I was like, okay, I got to do better. But the Denver game at home as a Baltimore Raven in the wild card round, that was nuts. Wind. Wind is the greatest X factor, period, end of discussion. It makes everything 10 times worse. And so that game was like a hellaciously cold game where it was like, why are we out here? And then finally, my rookie year went to the New York Giants for another playoff game when I was with the Minnesota Vikings at the Meadowlands. And I don't know if Jimmy Hoffa's people wanted to open up the garage door to let the breeze kind of go through and all the things like they say. Man, I experienced that thing. That was like, yeah, I was like, okay, I'm here. I'm ready to go. We unfortunately came out with the L, and I was like, okay, well, we lost. Let's go ahead and go on in and get warm. So yeah, I've been in some cold ones.
Yeah, let's get. All right, that was tough. Get our ass where it's warmer in there, and that's. Look, I know that football has the element, right? It's when it's snowing or the tundra and the blizzard games. It's as Zach, you like to say about how can you not be romantic about baseball? How can you not be romantic about football? But it's freaking cold. It is tough as a player to try to be able to showcase your abilities and do what you can, but you got to play the elements, Q, right, Zach? It's
and
play it as it lies.
Q, real fast. So you did you have any? I know different players had different ways that they would get warm and try to stay warm. Did you have any secrets, up your sleeve that in the real cold you were like, okay, this is my go-to?
With today's technology, and the reason why I say today's technology and all the things, my sons, when we were in Pee Wee football, directly, I literally would be like, all right, bet, let me make sure these dudes are warm and ready to go. And I obviously had to have my layers on too. And when my oldest son, Kadri, he was in Boy Scouts, we had Operation Icicle, and we would go up to north of Harford County and go to one of the campsites. And my God, man, it didn't matter. I mean, it was some straight up snow, and we were just like, we camping outside. So yeah, I learned real quick. It's about the technology. So what do I mean by that? I'm saying like what you do is when you got those heater, the hand warmers and stuff, you got to open that sucker up early. Open it up in like your car and like blast the heat. Let the oxygen get into the little granules to make that thing as hot as it can be. And then all of a sudden you're nice and toasty. At the same time, the proper layers. I find that a little bit more of a natural cottony type layer is more breathable, and wool. Wool is amazing. All that other synthetic stuff is, that you can kick rocks with that, boy, but you give me some wool, I'm good. And cashmere. Like, I wish they made cashmere tights.
Oh.
Don't laugh, Ryan. Don't laugh. Because just y'all baseball players, y'all be sitting there in the warmth and the comfort of your season. But us football players, unfortunately, we don't have the comfort of the warmth. Unless you're in the dome. That's another story for another day. But we don't have the comfort. So I'll tell you, I'd be like, hey, man, can y'all like design like a cashmere long sleeve, something that I could wear underneath my pads? There it is.
So I can see it now, like leggings by Q, and it's strictly cashmere. And by the way, Q, I wasn't laughing at you. I was just thinking, yeah, that'll keep you toasty.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's no damn about it. I mean, yes, and baseball players, we got the pants on, and I know it's the summertime. We're wearing pants. It's hot as hell. Hey, I'm all about staying warm. You just got to be able to function. Whatever's going to help you function, whether that's in cashmere wool or you're wearing nothing underneath. I don't really care. As long as you go out there and perform and you feel good about it, that's all that matters. Well, Q, I think a lot of people are feeling good about the game, but kind of excited, kind of nervous. I mean, rightfully so. These two teams, the Bills, the Ravens, not the same two teams that met in week 4, right? Week 4 of the season. It's not the same as far as what the momentum's grown. Baltimore obviously blew out the Bills then. They are a healthier group in certain areas than they were. Baltimore went through their bumps in the road, and they seem to be playing their best ball and having guys, knock on wood, besides the health of Zay Flowers. They've been pretty good. So, Q, I want to ask you, at least now, we're going to play a clip from Ed Reed. He was on Kay Adams' show today, and Ed seems like it's a very specific way to stop Josh Allen. So I want you to hear his comments, but then I want to hear what you think is the real key to stopping one of the most dynamic football players in the game. So, Zach, let's play that clip.
Oh. Why is it not?
Try it again.
About, right? Josh Allen's legs. When you look at this matchup, not that you're worried, but what are you like, gotta watch out for that if you could address the Baltimore locker room?
It would be, just the outside noise. It would be the fans, and just staying focused. It'll be those things that are on the outside. Everything else is just do what we do, so that's the only thing I'll be talking about that really have us nervous that can affect us. It'll be everything on the outside.
So everything on the outside. We even heard Roquan Smith, Q, even say, it's simple. We got to do what we have to do. So why don't you explain what the Baltimore Ravens, what that means, what they have to do inside that locker room, and then when they take the field up in Buffalo?
So the psychology of the game, it matters. Home and away, clearly Vegas knows it when they're putting out the odds and what team might be favored over the other, and usually it's favoring the home team. Some of the metrics when it comes to traveling from one coast to the other and all those things. Well, I think for this one, that's pretty much of a wash. You're going up to Buffalo. It's going to be a quick trip. Yes, it's cold here, so it's going to be cold there. Okay. We talked about technology. They're going to have the same thing on one sideline, has to be league rules over on the other sideline, the bench warming, the whole flow. I know John is going to make sure that, the fellas during the week of practice that they're locked in. And so you got a good game plan that you're ready to do. But there is something to be said about that momentum shifting of the crowd noise. That one little nuance play that you didn't hear, or did you go in motion the right timing, or did the center hear or make the right call, or did you relay the call on the offensive line? And then defensively, it's the same thing too. Like if a guy makes a, huge third down catch and you just like, man, that's one thing when you're home, it's like, oh, all right, cool, we'll get back. But it's another thing where it's like, and everybody's so excited. And then all of a sudden it's like, dang it, they got momentum. And it's like, you feel it in your soul. And so that's something you got to fight against. That's why I love, both the 2000 as well as the 2012 team. We went on a road to Tennessee, and that divisional round game, but that shit was hard. And like, you ain't hear nothing at all. And it was that deafening and loud and crazy. To go to Denver for the Mile High Miracle for the divisional round, like that was insane. And I mean, that was the coldest game I broadcasted. Like, I mean, I felt that like through my whole being as well. And I was like layered up. I couldn't wait to get back up to the booth. But even in the booth, we had the open air. That was like, woo, this is cold. And so the main thing is you want to shut down a crowd early. But if it's a back and forth game like Denver, yeah, you're going to have to, number one, make sure you're the one dictating to them and not allowing them to somehow, some way just have momentum and it's over before you even have it. Real quickly, I cannot say enough how, like, whether it be Lee Evans, whether it be Billy Cundiff in that Patriots game, the way in which the Patriots did their thing and how it all worked and functioned with the refs, and then their strategic way of, having a guy eligible, but, it was a little bit of deception, and you add in the crowd noise, that is where it works against you. And I think that's what Ed is talking about.
And right there, by the way, John, I think that does home crowd make a difference.
Right.
I think Q just answered that in depth like he always does. But Zach, kind of continuing on with the conversation, you got a question.
Yeah, Q. So, we talked about, and Ed just spoke about, not allowing the outside noise to affect you, focusing on what you can control and everything. Well, some news that came out today, Todd Monken is doing interviews, 2 of them this week for head coaching jobs, one today, I believe, and one Friday. As a team and as a coach in Monken, how do you balance that? Are you sitting there saying, hey, Todd, not now, like, we got to be focused on this game? Like, what is it as an organization, as a team, when you're focusing on, hey, we're trying to win a Super Bowl, Buffalo's on Sunday, but, one of your best coaches is getting head coach interviews. Is that tough for a team to balance?
I think in this new phase of coaching in the NFL and some of the changes that have been made, I think this is an okay thing. What do I mean by that? In years previous, if you were a successful team, yeah, pretty much your coaching staff was off limits because they were still playing and other teams were trying to fill those vacancies because you got to get up to speed to fill a general manager role, a head coach role, a vision of what the head coach wants, and maybe what the general manager can feel he can get because of salary cap and all that. So you don't got time to waste. My point is this: when it comes to Todd Monken, I mean, this is par for the course. This is what is what. I think that now that you look at like a Mike McDonald, he had to do what he had to do. And I think for Todd Monken, he's in the same position. That's just how it is. And unless you feel like, Steve Spagnuolo, was already been there, done that. I'm trying to make another run and go through 3 in a row and 3-peat and all that as a Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator. Okay, cool. But other teams, Detroit, they're going to be feeling that same thing with their coordinators. It's how you do it. And I respect it. I love it. I think it's part of keeping the main thing, obviously preparing for, Lamar Jackson and then what can he do against, the Bills and what kind of play calling I want to put forth. Yet at the same time, I got to, take care of my vision of my grandeur of what I might see as a NFL coach in my career.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity for Todd Monken, right? For all these coaches, this is what you want. And it's different nowadays, but to Zach, to your question, Evan and Q, appreciate the answer. Everyone nowadays wants to try to find something that can distract the team, right? It's always something, trying to find bulletin board material. And boy, Zach, by the way,
yeah,
there was some bulletin board material being thrown out left and right, and people want to run with that. Quite a bit. We don't have to rehash that. I remember, do you see Q, John Harbaugh, that whole Jerry situation?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was funny to me because that's not bulletin board. Like, that's City of Losers and all that. That's Jerry Coleman being Jerry Coleman. Now, John took the cheese, but then John also realized if I take more and nibble on this, then basically, yeah, it's going to be bulletin board material. I think he walked that back, but the thing is, and I've experienced this too with some Lamarites, when it comes to like one thing, they can twist that real quickly. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, yeah, John Harbaugh said you're a City of Losers. Just as I experienced with some Lamarites. The Lamarites are real, man. You say one thing, like in constructive, like, hey, he needs to get something better, you hate on him. You're like, wait a minute, what did I say? And then you go back and you look at what you say, like, wait a minute, I ain't say that. And so it gets spun out real quickly. And that's where, yeah, man, John, they're going, it's just another nugget that Jared Coleman should have been shut up on, and he messed it all up.
Well, John handled it well, but what we're saying is all over social media then, people are like, oh, a lot of people are going, hey, like, nothing to do with John. They go, look at Harbaugh saying all that.
People want to make bulletin board
They
material.
want to make something out of nothing. They want to make something out of nothing. And I'll tell you what, this game is going to be great. One thing it kind of reminds me recently, Q, a couple things to get you out of here. We had when we had Nick Moore on before the first Steelers game, or the second Steelers game in Baltimore. Matchup number 2 with Pittsburgh in Baltimore. How about that? And Nick was complimenting the Steelers for, gosh, I don't know, the first 4 minutes of his answer. And then at the end of it, it was because he's friends with PQ. He goes, then we'll see when PQ and Derrick Henry meet in the hole. PQ's going to have his big boy pants on, or like have his big boy pads on. And all then the headlines on Steelers Nation was all pro.
Yeah, they referred to him as all pro.
They referred to him as all pro, saying Ravens player calls out Patrick Queen, and then Freiermuth talks shit to Nick on the field
before the game.
And when you talk a lot of shit for a long snapper, and Nick went, what the hell are you talking about?
No clue.
No clue. And then obviously the Ravens won both games. So it's one under the bridge, Q, but as you can see, make something out of nothing. Before we get your fitness tip for the day, give me one X factor. If Baltimore is going to walk away with the game, and let's just say we know Derrick Henry, obviously, if that's your answer, or is there somebody else that's catching your eye for Baltimore here in Buffalo?
For Baltimore defensively to win the game, Brandon Stevens has to limit Keon Coleman from a downfield throw. For the Baltimore Ravens to win the game, you're going to have to see number 40 and number 49 both make plays.
Mm-hmm.
For Baltimore to win the game, you're going to see number 43 and number 16 make a pivotal play to keep a drive alive, if not score. For Baltimore to win the game, the GOAT, number 9, has to be clutch with a 43-yarder and a 51-yarder in those hellish conditions and be like just deadly accurate. One more. For Baltimore to win the game, number 80 and 89 have to play even better than what they did against the Steelers. What up? Say something. We go into the AFC Championship game. All that stuff happened now.
I love that. I love all of those ones. And it's good. You're talking about with a Buffalo Bills offense. I'm glad you brought up Brandon Stevens to start. Talented player, but has been this year has unfortunately been on the side of some costly penalties or just some big gains. Whoever makes the least amount of mistakes, and mistakes in this case is not allowing the big play as often, that's going to help. And, man, it feels like this game's going to come down to the wire, and someone is going to have to step up and make plays outside of guys that you didn't mention that's already expected. Number 8, Lamar Jackson. Number 22, Derrick Henry. So I'm excited. I'm actually going to the game there, Q. I'm going up to Buffalo. So I'll be asking for a pair of your cashmere leggings. So you can send a pair. XL would be great. And maybe then on the way, how do I stay warm? Hey, in this climate, then perfect time for Missile Training and missiletraining.com. Let us know where people can find you, and then give us a way to kind of stay fit in this cold environment right now.
Yeah, so missiletraining.com is where you can interact with me. Missiletraining.com. Literally, it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your sport. Doesn't matter if you're a fitness enthusiast or if you're a newbie and trying to just go ahead and have better movement. Missiletraining.com. You come interact with me. I promise you, I'll put you on a path of better movement, better opportunity to make yourself a better moving athlete. Speed, agility, all those buzzwords. You're going to understand how to go ahead and have harmony within your columns and what those columns are, left side and right side of your body. Missiletraining.com is how you can interact with me. As to helping yourself, the tip I would tell you, if you can, black pepper extract, go ahead, and I mean like the pinch of the pinchiest of the pinch. If you put a little bit of that in some hot tea, you slosh that down, and you take some red cayenne pepper, put that in your wool socks. Put that in your wool socks before you leave the hotel room. What's going to happen is you're going to be like, oh my God, my feet. They're going to open up. Your pores are going to open up. The blood's going to be flowing. So now you got better circulation. The wool socks going to keep you warm. You're going to be a lot more heated. You walk outside, boom, with the proper boots on and everything. Bruh, you're going to be living large up there in Buffalo. Wish I could have joined you because WJZ, I'm going to be in studio here in Baltimore while my guy Alex Glaze, he's going to be going up there. So you can go ahead and check us out in our pregame show at 11:30. We're going to have a pregame on at 5:30. And then we're going to have a postgame show all on WJZ. Check me, my boy Alex Glaze, Rick Ritter, and of course, Grace Grill, Stefan Dingle. He's going to be with us as well. We got a whole crew, WJZ, Tony Romo, and Jim Nance going to be doing the game, but we're going to have y'all Baltimoreans understanding the flow of the game right before. And yes, missiletraining.com.
Yeah, I mean, that you got he's a man of many talents. And I've also learned a different use of peppers. So cayenne peppers
in the
socks, getting some cashmere leggings, and then black pepper extract, just chug that. And yeah, I mean, if I overdo it, what happens?
You will have whatever is in your lower intestinal colon tract. It will then no longer be there. It will be in some bathroom, and hopefully you will be at the stadium, at Highmark Stadium, in one of their old bathrooms, because the new stadium is apparently being built. You're going to have your innards on the outside. You're going to be feeling 5 pounds lighter.
Okay. Well, that's another tip to lose some weight, or if you want to clear out your system. So Q, like I said, nutrition and fitness, and obviously he knows a thing or two about football. Q, I appreciate you, and let me know when we're starting the cashmere leggings. But I'll talk to you hopefully after a Ravens victory on Sunday night, and we can talk about it on Monday.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, brother. Have a safe trip up.
Thanks, Q. Appreciate you, Q. I love that, man.
The advice is never what you expected.
And I love it every time.
Cayenne pepper in the socks. Because
if you overdo the black pepper, you're gonna shit yourself. I'll paraphrase it for Q. That you're gonna go find the bathroom, and you are going to. I guess it sounds like it's a good way to clean out the system.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe that's like actually a good, like if you need to clear out. Maybe that's
clear it out.
Yeah. Also a tip from Q. Health tip from Q.
Yeah, Q's with Q. Tips from Q. And hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live every Monday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And we also are live on Ravens game days. As you guys heard, I will be up in Buffalo for the game, Buffalo. So I will actually be boots on the ground here while the boys are here. I couldn't miss the opportunity, Zach. I got offered a ticket, road tripping up with some friends, and I think it's always a place I wanted to go see a game. Granted, it's going to be
cold,
rigid, but this is where memories are made, good or bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. Good or bad, memories will be made.
Yeah, memories will be made. And you know what? Stackhouse, I don't know if this was on the Q's advice for health, but that is definitely an easier way.
Yeah, probably much easier.
And
more enjoyable, probably.
Until it gets to a certain point. But yes, it does. Then you don't want to overindulge, but I'm excited for that one. We'll be live before that. We'll have a time to be determined, so we will talk with you guys soon about that. And for our Holy Shirts and Pants members, I'll give you guys some content from being out there. Don't you guys worry. So look, we got some more to talk about with this game with the Ravens, the Bills, some of the other action around, because there are some fantastic games that are happening this weekend. I mean, look, I'm excited even about the Eagles-Rams game. The Rams just seem like a team that gets comfortable in the postseason. Eagles should win that game, but they're playing with house money. Also is playing with house money. The Commanders going to Detroit.
Yeah.
Nothing to lose. They could have everything to gain. Detroit's had a historic season for their organization, but it can all go crumbling down. And are they going to have any, rust from resting a week? Or maybe is that what the doctor ordered? And then obviously the Texans and Chiefs, the Chiefs are going to be favored, but let's just be honest here. It's the playoffs. If that Texans team plays like they did defensively, then this could be a very tight game. But Kansas City is the defending champs, 2-time defending champs for a reason. Winning in Kansas City is one of the tallest tasks to do in the postseason. But let's jump back in to our Ravens-Bills conversation. And while we do that, let's take a trip deeper to Buffalo here on our Adams Jeep of Maryland. And Adams Jeep, OG sponsor of the show. And guess what? Was this coming up in 7 seconds?
No.
I'm going to take the over on this one now. It definitely is. I'm not proud of it. I'm going to say it's going to pop up in 3,
Jeez,
2.
Whoa! Hope you took the alternate over. Hope you took the alternate.
That was about 6.5 seconds. But our friends at Adams Jeep of Maryland, 5 minutes from the Ironbird Stadium up there in Aberdeen. And look, they've been so good to us. And if you are in the market for a new car, they will be good to you, used or new. Go check out adamsjeepofmaryland.com if you can't get there in person. And on the website, you can look at the price points and find what you like, search the vehicle, and hopefully you find the car that you desire. And hey, if you find one and you go to Chuck and Matt at Adams Jeep of Maryland and you say, hey, I love the Ryan Ripken Show or Rocco Sucks, they will give you a gas card up to $1,000 with the purchase of a used or new vehicle. So go check out Adams Jeep of Maryland. Again, that's adamsjeepofmaryland.com, and tell Chuck and Matt we say hello. All right. Let's continue on here. I do like this idea of you should do a sponsored countdown clock sponsorship within a sponsorship.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah, like a shot clock.
It is. That would be naughty.
Make that happen.
That would be naughty. And take the Jeep to Buffalo. Well, maybe we'll take the Jeep somewhere else. Maybe it will go south. That's for a different time. Different time here. That's a good thing, but we're not in that season yet. Adams Jeep, beep, beep. All right, let's talk about this Buffalo game a little bit as we continue on. I'm sorry, I'm reading a comment. I don't think I said, did I say Broncos suck? No, Rocco sucks.
Yeah, Rocco sucks.
Rocco, our other member of the show that no one really likes.
Yeah, Rocco sucks.
Rocco sucks, not Broncos sucks. Just wanted to clarify that. Now let's take a dive back into the Buffalo Ravens game. Juego, as they say in Spanish. But look, I think the conversation, these are two great quarterbacks, Zach. I mean, I hate that this narrative continues to be who should be the MVP. It should be Lamar. But they're both fantastic, man. Like they are two of the game's best. You can argue right now they are the two best.
They are the two best.
Patrick Mahomes knows how to win. Kansas City Chiefs know how to win. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, talent-wise of what they're doing right now, they're the cream of the crop right now.
Yeah, and, real fast before we get into it, I think it's one of those things where it's talented versus just proven winner. It's the same conversation with Brady. It's like, oh, well, Aaron Rodgers is more talented than Brady, but if you want to win something, you pick Tom Brady. It's like, who's the best thrower of all time? Who's got the most agility of all time? All that. But if you're talking, you throw everything out, who's going to win you football games? It's Tom Brady. Feel the same way about Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to be the fastest. He maybe doesn't have the best arm. Year to year, you can say this guy's better. This guy's better. Oh, this guy's the new number one. But when it's all said and done, Patrick Mahomes is the guy to beat. He's QB1 because, hell, if you're going for a three-peat, your fourth Super Bowl already, it's you.
He is the bona fide winner. bona fide winner. But talent-wise, Josh
Yeah.
Allen, Lamar Jackson, it's there. And it is the premier matchup of the weekend. But then the conversation obviously grows to a different conversation in general, different talking point. And on First Take, Stephen A. Smith, the conversation was around, who has more to lose in the situation if their team was to lose.
Yeah, and who has more to gain of the three? Not just Mahomes or not just Allen and Lamar. So yeah, let's take a listen to that.
Let's play the clip.
To me, it's Lamar. I understand Mahomes, 3-time Super Bowl champion. If that, I'm 3 back to back to back. But I'm just looking at Lamar from the standpoint, the greatness that we already associate with him. We've already validated Mahomes' greatness. He's already recognized as the greatest, arguably the greatest quarterback who ever lived. Lamar Jackson goes out there and wins a Super Bowl with all the other things we've already seen him do. All of a sudden, he's in a conversation, solidified as one of the greatest quarterbacks who have ever played in the National Football League. And when you combine the mercurial skills that he brings to the table, it's already changed the game to some degree because everybody's looking for quarterbacks that are dual threats. But you'll certainly salivate over them even more if Lamar Jackson goes out there and proves he can get it done come playoff time and win you a Super Bowl. If he can do that, I just think it changes, elevates him to a stratosphere that he could never reach if he doesn't win a championship.
I'm going to say I agree with Stephen A. I feel like I don't say that a lot, but I agree with Stephen A, especially the part where he talks about, yeah, you can say Mahomes for the three-peat. If he gets a three-peat, that solidifies. Whether he gets the three-peat or not, he's in that greatest of all time conversation.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be Mahomes is always going to be in that from now on because of what he's already done at such a young age. Lamar does get the most to gain from this because what's the one thing that everyone says about Lamar? Can't win the big one. Oh, out of this world talent, unreal talent. The greatest to ever do it, can't win the big one. If he gets that big one, everything's out the window. He now enters that. Is he one of the greatest of all times? He steps into that, whereas Mahomes, I think, is already there, whether he wins it or not.
Yeah, and the other part, too, is that the perception, the narrative that's around the quarterbacks. To your point, Patrick Mahomes, doesn't matter what happens to him this year, the next year, the following year. Hell, if the Chiefs don't win another Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, yeah, his legacy might go away from being the greatest of all time. He's going to go down as still being one of the all-time greats, just off of the track record of what the Chiefs have done since he has taken over as the starting quarterback. On the other side of it, though, yes, Lamar has the hardware for 2 MVPs. He has led the Ravens to 2 number 1 seeds. And again, they're back in the postseason with an opportunity to try to get to the Super Bowl. But it's not what people are talking about, Zach.
No.
And in the other case, Josh Allen, people talk about how good of a playoff performer he is and that Lamar isn't. And I understand. Lamar has even said in the past he needs to calm himself down in the postseason. And he's had moments where, let's just face it, it was not the MVP like Lamar.
Yeah.
We saw those moments. We've seen those moments. Doesn't mean it's not there. But for Josh Allen, people go, wait a minute. Just Josh is unbelievable. He's spectacular. The Bills haven't gone to a Super Bowl during this time either, right? But that's not the narrative that's being thrown out there. The narrative is that Josh Allen, he's playing against the Chiefs, and if they lose to the champs, it's okay. For Lamar Jackson, it doesn't matter if he plays the Bills. It doesn't matter if he plays the Chiefs. He's got to beat all of them. And then he's got to get to the Super Bowl, and he's got to win the Super Bowl. Because if they lose in the Super Bowl, Zach, it goes back to this. You can't get it done. The big game. And that's what Lamar Jackson is going to have to deal with from now until the day he wins a Super Bowl. And I truly do believe once he wins a Super Bowl, I think that this pressure is going to be off. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lamar and the Ravens are able to try to replicate that even on it. Nothing's easy in this league.
Yeah.
But don't you feel like it would become an easier task? It's not as daunting because of all of that negativity.
There's not as much pressure. You literally, you get to the postseason the next season after you would win it all. There's no more, if he doesn't do it again, he can't win it. oh, they already won. If they get eliminated in the AFC Championship, if they lose in the divisional round, whatever, it's, oh, they got their ring. Like Lamar already won off year. Someone else had to win it. You know, Lamar wasn't going to do it twice. So it's less pressure, and I think that helps him in that type of situation.
No doubt. No doubt about that. I mean, and that's the thing. And I love Josh Allen, by the way. Like this, and Patrick Mahomes, I love the fact that we are watching greatness. And I think take off being a fan of the game. And I even say that, Zach, when I played baseball, and people are going, wait a minute, Ryan, you're not you're rooting for other guys. Well, I appreciate greatness in any sport. Anything that you do, you appreciate the greatness. And for Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, we're witnessing three of the best quarterbacks that the game has ever seen. Whatever ends up happening, I think these accolades for what they're going to accomplish is something that people are going to continue to talk about, like they did with the likes of the Drew Breeses and the Peyton Mannings, and even to the Tom Brady, that whole class, Aaron Rodgers. This is the new era of that. It's not going to be the same as it was, but these guys are really damn good. And unfortunately, Zach, one of these teams is going home. Mm-hmm. One of these teams, their dream's going to end. But at least for this debate, for who can really help his legacy and who has most to lose, unfortunately, and it's not fair, it's always going to be Lamar Jackson until he is hoisting that Lombardi. So, again, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show do this live every Monday and Thursday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. But speaking of the pressure, because that kind of leads right into it, you know, a quarterback that's dealt with a lot of criticism, and he is one of the best. You mentioned him, talent, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, no doubt, going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But he's had his doubters. And yes, they have not gone back to a Super Bowl since they won it that year with the Packers beating the Pittsburgh Steelers early on in Aaron's career. So Aaron, though, had a great perspective. Whether you agree with it or not, Aaron was very open about how he thinks these players are being, I guess, accounted for and how they're being perceived. And that's something he doesn't think is fair. So let's play that clip for you guys.
You know, this is the problem, and I'm just prognosticating here, but big problem in the football media is what is going to happen to the loser of that game.
Can't get it done. Can't get it done. And
both guys had incredible seasons, right? Incredible season. Josh, you know, I don't know, like until the media, which has a big sway, kind of jumped on the Lamar train with shit. I don't blame him because he had an incredible season too, but it seemed like it was Josh's MVP to win. He had a phenomenal season, arguably the best player in the league. And the other guy who would probably be in the conversation besides Saquon is Lamar Jackson, and just a little ho-hum 41-4 season for him. But again, they both haven't, you know, won, you know, been to a Super Bowl, which is, you know, everybody's measuring stick for giving somebody some sort of elite status that we have to grovel to receive from the media.
So right there, you're hearing Aaron Rodgers just say he hates the fact that we have to talk about it this way, right? We have to talk about that. They're both great quarterbacks. They are. And we want to try to, you know, rip these talented players down. But like on the other side of it, Zach, and this is the national media side, that is kind of what they sign up for too. You know, when you're looked at as trying to be what greatness is, people usually look at greatness as how many times do you win? Which is interesting because, you know, winning is, I guess, the best case to show that. But if we go about this whole debate, right, Zach, winning, you can go about, okay, how many rings do you have? Does that mean you're the best player or you are part of a lot of great teams? And there's that combination. You know, Tom Brady, when we brought it up for years, it ends up turning out that Tom Brady was one of the greatest to play. He wasn't the most talented, but he had a great team, great organization, but he was clutch as hell. He got it done over and over and over again. But I do understand what Rodgers is saying because, man, let's just face it. How long have these conversations been going on? It feels like not even for this year, it's been months, but these types of conversations have been going on as long as I can remember in the whole sports media verse.
Yeah. Well, that's the issue with this is that it is every single year. And hell, I'm going to bring up, it's not even just a Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, any of those guys. This has been for, man, it feels like every new quote unquote generation of quarterbacks. So even in the past one, it was for so long, it was, well, Peyton Manning's great, but he can't win the big one. You know, there's always those guys that are these great guys that the media is like, well, they can't get it done. And it's always that time after time. So I think, unfortunately, this is what the media has become. It's no longer this, oh, you know, this guy's playing great. He didn't win a championship. The litmus test for some reason has become, hey, either you've won a championship or you're not a good quarterback. Like it feels like there's no in between. There's no, oh, he's a really good quarterback, hasn't gotten it done when it matters the most, but he's still an all-time great. It's, if you don't have a ring, you're an okay quarterback. Like you're fine. You know, it feels like there's this like standard of, if you don't have a ring, you're not invited to the club. So that's the unfortunate situation that, you know, guys like Lamar are in, is people are going to discredit them until they get a ring, no matter what they do.
And there's a lot of great quarterbacks that don't win. You know, and there's a lot of great players in general, greats that don't win. You know, Dan Marino was the one that everyone goes back to. Dan Marino is one of the best quarterbacks to have been in the NFL. They didn't win, right? It happens. Now, when you're talking about legacies of players, that's where the winning gets associated with, and also the numbers that you have. Like Peyton Manning, until he won the Super Bowl in 2006 against, you know, he had to come through Baltimore's, didn't score a touchdown in that game. Just going to throw that out there. But Peyton Manning, regular season, his accomplishments, like, I hate the fact that we throw that aside, because people will tell you to go out there and be able to do what they do, even if it is for a regular season. It's so damn impressive that not a lot of people can accomplish that, right? But we do understand quarterbacks are going to be judged by how they play in the biggest moments and in the postseason. In some cases, they are the driving force, whether a team wins or loses. In other cases, they can do almost everything right, but it might not still be good enough. And is that on them, or is that on the situation that they find themselves in? So it's a conversation that we could go on and on about, but Aaron Rodgers knows all about that.
Yeah.
For the Packers, they've been one of the top teams constantly. He's won multiple MVPs, and yet they found ways to lose when they were the number one seed, being shocked at home and coming up short. But also, like I saw that highlight recently, Aaron Rodgers throw against the Cowboys when he rolls to his left and throws a dot to Jared Cook, and then they win that game in ridiculous fashion, knock out the Cowboys, and then that led to the Falcons then beating them. But that moment was clutch.
Yeah.
That was an unbelievable NFL moment. But people only remember, Zach, when you win the quote-unquote big games. But what do you define as a big game? Is it Super Bowl or bust? If that's the case, then a lot of people are going to have a tough time defining how great they're going to be. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show, do this live every Monday, Thursday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. And we might have Zach, we might have a guest.
I am so confused on this whole guest situation.
And I mean, it's
really cool.
It's a really great
Super
guest.
dope.
Yeah, like, and we could give people 20 guesses in here. They wouldn't be able to guess it at all.
Not guess who could be hopping on this in a few minutes, but
and he might not.
Yeah, he might not, but could be cool.
We'll let you. We're gonna just let you guys know that
at any moment we could kind of shift off very quickly have to go to that and get that done. So apologize if that happens, but yeah, we'll get it.
Mark, how did you know? How did you know?
The cat's out of the bag.
I guess it only took one guess.
Yep.
Damn,
they didn't even need all 20.
Damn, that's nuts. But we will say the guest, he likes the Ravens. He likes the Ravens. So, and maybe that can be when we have in the future, we should sometimes guess the guest would be fun.
Yeah.
To mess with it. And you know what, guys, we like to have our thoughts with like polls and whatnot. And we'll try to ask that as it going. I think the question I'll have for today, Zach, and I don't know, it's a throwback Thursday. So for all of you guys to think, what was the best boy or girl group of all time? I'm just saying. It's Throwback Thursday. I heard.
You going Backstreet Boys?
I saw it was on the throwback playlist today. Spice Girls popped up there, So I'm just saying, and it can be from any generation because we can even go further back here, and you can go like Kool and the Gang for me. It's a great group. Love the music.
Mm-hmm.
It's an open discussion here. So let you guys
also
ponder on that
real quick. Jesse Rogers and then Jeff Passan retweeted it. They gotta have some rule about how you can start a tweet with breaking news, because it goes breaking news. The Cubs and outfielder Kyle Tucker have agreed on, and then it cut off the tweet. I thought a massive extension happened. It was just a deal to avoid arbitration.
Yeah, even Brad.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brad.
I just
appreciate it. But also Kyle Tucker already went to the Cubs.
Yeah.
In general. So, but that's so misleading for a lot of ways. Yeah, they do need to do a better job on that of what's happening on the browsing history here. So why don't we
speaking of browsing history.
Yeah, why don't we take a trip before we might maybe have our guest on?
Yeah.
Hey Zach, why don't we take a trip to our new segment, our newish segment?
Yeah.
What's been on Zach's browsing history? What'd you find today?
So I think this is absolutely hilarious. So the NFL each week awards an NFL Way to Play award. And I will read the definition of it. Each week during the NFL regular season and playoffs, one NFL player will be awarded for their excellent playing technique. The winner will receive a $5,000 USA football equipment grant from the NFL Foundation for youth or high school football programs of their choice. So it's for someone that I guess, exudes excellence, is, kind of had a great week, someone that really awesome. Here's who won this week. I'm just going to share my screen and just let it. George Pickens. George Pickens won the NFL Way to Play, and I think you guys would guess how everyone is reacting to that. There is a lot of how the hell did George Pickens win the NFL Way to Play award? So congratulations, George. Chad, you guys, your reactions is exactly how all the tweets are in response to this. So a lot of confused people. Congrats to George and whatever foundation is getting the money. That's awesome, but did not see this one coming. I can say fairly certain that I did not think when they announced this week that it was going to be George Pickens. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was playing.
He got that nice touchdown, but I just would have thought he maybe a winning team player, won, and then with the whole charity thing, maybe I don't know. George Pickens just didn't really stick out to me as that guy that I was like, that's the guy who's excellent play I want to give charity money to. That just, maybe Derrick Henry, a great, I feel like there are a lot of big time players this week that had really cool games, and I don't know. Maybe George Pickens wasn't just an interesting choice.
It wasn't the first choice or second on my bingo card at all. And especially, and look, first off, I want to say the perception, no one in here really knows George Pickens, by the way. So obviously he's been getting a lot more hate because of what's happened. Clearly there are certain things, though, that he might be able to do a little bit better. And some things, that's just what he does. But you know what? Congrats to George Pickens. Phenomenal. Good job.
Proud of him.
And the Steelers, they have a lot of conversations that they're going to have to figure out here. It is a tough, no Ravens fans feeling bad about it. They're in a tough situation. It's smacking them in the face what the issue is, and it's to find a quarterback here. So, and I wonder how they're going to address that moving forward. So moving around to the rest of the NFL here and trying to think about what we have. If we have enough time down the road, we will do some call-ins if we have the time. I don't know what's happening with our other guests, possibly, with Mr. Nick Moore. he is trying to figure things out. He's trying to bundle up. I haven't even told Nick that, hey, I'll see him up there for this game, Zach, but we will figure it out. But why don't we do a little bit more of this football news? This one's still, you heard it, and it's a good, it's a fun story, right? It's fun. Deion Sanders, Cowboys. At first, fun story, really great. And I like Deion. I like what they're building. And truly, I think that he has done a good job wherever he's gone. But now making a jump to the NFL and that there could be more serious consideration. Mm-hmm. And I guess today on Get Up,
Adam Schefter talked about it a little bit
more of what that could entail. So let's play that clip for you guys.
Listen, a year ago, the Dallas Cowboys were debating whether or not to keep Mike McCarthy, and they let Dan Quinn out the door. And the one thing that Dan Quinn has done in Washington beyond anything else is completely revamp the culture there to where it's a different type of organization. And again, now we'll go to Deion Sanders. I can't help but think of about 16, 17 months ago, I had an NFL general manager call me up and he said, I want you to write this down right now. The next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys is going to be Deion Sanders. Take it to the bank because of the respect that exists between Deion Sanders and Jerry Jones and vice versa. And a lot of people out there now saying that Deion Sanders is using this as a leverage ploy
to get more money from Colorado.
Right. And I brought that up to Deion Sanders. And he said, that ain't true. And I don't need any negotiating ploy. I'm me. That's how he feels. He doesn't need any negotiating ploy.
Big dog status.
That's right.
So you're hearing, and I agree with Shefty on that, he doesn't need any more reasons to get paid more. He's Deion, and he's not afraid to do it his way. And guess what? Colorado, they've been elevated because of his presence. And heck, they were a win away, or even a tiebreaker away in this case, from being in the Big 12 championship and having a chance to go to the college football playoff. Now, they got waxed by BYU in the bowl game, but nonetheless, successful season for Colorado. Zach, though, the thing is, I guess I wouldn't be surprised with anything with Jerry. And I know that the exciting thing is to bring in Deion. It brings a spark. But is that what the Cowboys need in your mind? Does Deion need to come to Dallas?
No, but I think it's going to happen.
You think it's going to happen?
I've been saying it since middle of the season. It just felt like the disaster the Cowboys paired up with Shadur and Travis Hunter leaving, Shiloh too, I guess, all leaving Colorado. It just felt like this was that time. It just genuinely felt like this was that time. Do you think
he has more to prove then to go to the next level?
No, but I think it's I don't want to say an ego thing, but I think he wants to be a head coach at an NFL level.
I think he does too. I think that's definitely on the goals here. But from going to then 2 years at a Power 5 school, and they had good success and they kept building. If you were a fan base, if you're the Cowboys fan base, I guess that's my point is, are you buying in with everything kind of, it's exciting, but is that going to take the Cowboys over the top? That's going to be my question, because it doesn't change the fact that they have cap situations they got to figure out. Mm-hmm. You do have a franchise quarterback. You have a top wide receiver, but how are you going to build your team and staff around? And also for coaches of what we've seen, taking the jump from being a head coach in college to being a head coach in the NFL, where the Cowboys, they need to change something up. But then on the flip side, if they're saying, well, the Cowboys haven't accomplished anything in decades as far as reaching the goals, then you can make the argument in this case, well, why don't you just say screw it? And switch it up. And that's probably what you're alluding to that would be
a switch up.
That would be a switch up.
And I agree with Kevin here. I don't think it's going to be a great marriage where in the fact of he's going to jump there and it's going to be, the Cowboys are back. Deion's taking him to this. It could very much be a shit show. Just straight up. It has that ability to where, especially because of ego, we know Jerry Jones, where his ego is. We know obviously Deion. It does feel like that could be it's going to be a home run or strikeout. That's a matchup, a pairing that feels like it is swing or miss. There is no, we have a few mediocre seasons. He shows promise. It's either hey, he's turning the Cowboys around. This is what we needed. Or within 2 years, we're like, this was a mistake.
And the other part, though, if you're looking for entertainment, it's going to be entertaining.
Oh,
There's going to be entertainment.
Is there any doubt if he gets this job that the Cowboys would be Hard Knocks?
It would have to be.
Have to.
You would have to make it Hard Knocks because this is cinema we're talking about. This is what we need to see behind the scenes. On the flip side, though, as far as on the field, hey, the Cowboys, you're kind of behind the 8 ball when it comes to your own division because right now, you already have a franchise quarterback like we talked about. Your team's in influx. It's going to be in a little bit of cap hell. You're going to have to figure that out. But the Giants in this case, yep, they brought back their staff, but they're picking high in the draft.
Yeah.
They're going to go get a quarterback. If they hit right, they can get back on track. The Eagles are already at the top of the conference. The Commanders are there now. Like they have now risen to be a team that's going to be tough to deal with for the next 5 years, maybe longer, as long as Jaden Daniels continues to show what he's shown. Cowboys or the Commanders are going to be contenders. So, we'll see, man. I will say for my Colorado allegiance, I want to see the Buffs continue to have success. So I think if he leaves, I'm afraid of what that could mean for the university. So I guess we'll see what happens here. But if Jerry wants to go rogue, which he's done, and saying screw it, this would be the time to do it. So
it just does. It feels like it's just that time. Like if it's not now for Deion in Dallas, I don't know when. I think that's the biggest reason why I'm like, yeah, this happens. Just because if not now, when? That type of situation.
If not now, when? When will then be now? I guess we'll find out. But you know what will be soon, Zach? You don't know the reference I was doing is Spaceballs. When will then be now? Soon. Well, coming soon, Ravens-Bills, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Buffalo. Going to be frigid. A lot of great games here. And as we look at the whole slate of who the favorites are and who has a full underdog mentality, why don't we take a trip up to our friends up at Hollywood Casino Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Beautiful. Well done, Zach. And hey, our friends at Hollywood Casino in West Virginia. Look, Charlestown Races is only an hour from Owings Mills, hour and 15 from Baltimore. I mean, heck, if you're down in D.C., it's not that far either. Hour and 15, hour and 20, depending on where you're coming from. But they have an event coming your way, Zach. I just got news. I've told you a little bit about it, but they're locking it in. They wanted me to explain it. January 31st, 11 to 2. So we're looking to have a show earlier in the day, but 11 to 2, they're opening the ESPN Sportsbook up there in Charlestown Races for Hollywood Casino. It's an exciting time. And I guess I'm allowed to, I don't know if Rocco's still, Rocco, I'm going to announce who it is if you hear me. But
yeah, he gave you
the thumbs up. So just knowing what I can say or not. But if you're a Commanders fan or you were a Washington fan for years, Santana Moss is going to be there to help unveil the sports book. Could be a couple other people there as well. But Santana Moss is going to join the Ryan Ripken Show on Friday, January 31st. So we will have a different time, a special show time, but we're excited about that. And hopefully, though, during that time period, we're celebrating the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. And maybe in that case, I bet Commanders fans, wouldn't that be something if the Commanders and the Ravens are going to be there? But if you're going to be at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races, pick that day, January 31st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll see you up there. And thank you once again to our friends up in West Virginia. Try to switch it up there. But let's look at these lines right here, okay? Let's look at these lines. So for this matchup here, the NFL slate brought to you by with ESPN Bet. Texans 8-point dogs still against the Chiefs. That's the first game of the divisional round. Over and under.
Excited for that one.
I am too, man. I'm not saying that the Texans got a chance, but they got a chance. Not saying it's a high chance, but they got a chance.
So that's the thing. It's going to be one of those things where I just think it's going to be closer than people think. Like people are giving the Texans no opportunity. Like people think that this is okay. Kansas City just backpedaled into the AFC Championship. I know what happened with the Texans and Ravens on Christmas. I understand they haven't been playing great ball, but that's a Texans team where they have some offensive firepower. You know, you still got Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, Joe Mixon. They've got some incredible pass rushers on the defensive side. Derek Stingley's playing out of his mind. I'm not saying they beat them, but it wouldn't, like, they've got a chance. They've got a chance. I know it's, you know, what would it be? 7 straight AFC championships for Mahomes. So it's just ridiculous, but
Oh, yeah.
Texans have a chance. I know a lot of people are counting them out. They have a chance.
And they're looking for their first AFC championship game appearance, right? They're still looking for that one. And maybe Rex Ryan has to insult the Texans again, saying that, you know, that the Chiefs have another bye. Maybe that will get them fired up again. Chiefs did beat the Texans earlier this year out in Kansas City, the night game, Commanders-Lions. Line is now at 9.5 in favor of the Lions. Over and under still set at 55.5 points. Holy shirts and pants, man. That is such a high total. I think that this game is going to be very entertaining. I think Jaden Daniels is a guy that is must-see. And I think these two offenses, it has been must-see TV. I do wonder if the Commanders, though, can fully keep up with what the Lions are capable of doing. And with their coordinators, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, I like the fit there. But, man, it would be something if Jaden Daniels goes up there. And I'll tell you what, though, if he wins, the drum's only going to beat louder in his favor for who they think is going to be, if he's already a top 3, top 4 quarterback, if they were to just win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that's the case, but that's the narratives we're going to hear. And Jaden Daniels, though, too, he's exciting as all get out, man. But he's not the only player. Austin Eckler coming back made so many impact plays out of the backfield. Terry McLaurin, stud.
Yeah.
Like it's a talented group, and they're playing with belief. They are not the better roster here, but they are a team that is playing with confidence. I talked with Torrey Smith at the playoff rally for M&T Bank. By the way, it was a phenomenal time. But Torrey even said, and I 1,000% agree, it's not always the best team that wins. It's the team that's playing their best ball at the right time. Whoever who's hot right now. Commanders are hot. Commanders are hot for sure. So down the list, Rams, Eagles. Rams are 6-point dogs, man. I think the Rams are going to put up a fight.
They might put up a fight because of the offensive firepower, but that Eagles team is just too talented. That man, I think. I know obviously Ravens in the AFC, but if I'm picking my ideal NFC championship, Eagles Lions has to be it. I mean, that's just that's must-see TV right there, especially the run games with the explosive plays by both teams, the amount of talent just up and down the offenses, too incredible. I mean, talk about battle in the trenches, you know, two teams built off the trenches. As much as I would love to see the Rams advance, because I think, one, seeing Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, all of them, like, it's just a fun offense to watch. Even though
they're real fun.
Even though Cooper Kupp is not getting any targets anymore. I don't know what the hell happened there. But that Puka Nacua is getting force-fed. And it's a fun offense to watch. I mean, anytime you watch Sean McVay run an offense, it's going to be special. And then when you add in the players he has and the talent, it's fun. It's must-see.
You know, one thing I saw a stat floating around there, and I'm sorry for the group that put this out there, for Cooper Kupp, that Cooper Kupp and Kenny Galladay have the same amount of 1,000-yard seasons.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're so differently viewed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also goes to show you, you can't always just judge stats, you know, as the end all here. Cooper Kupp has had some devastating injuries, and he would have been over 1,000 yards in some of the other circumstances. But his 2 seasons in 2019, 16 games, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, and then the year they won the Super Bowl, 1,900 receiving yards and 16 touchdowns en route to being Super Bowl MVP. So, and then everything else this year, he was injured quite a bit. 710 yards on 67 catches last year, same thing. Injured, 59 catches, 737 yards. So it is he almost in the last 3 seasons barely are more than what he's had in that one incredible year he had in 2021. So, whew.
It's going to be a fun weekend for the divisional games.
It's going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be fun. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show here. We do this live every Monday, Thursday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And I don't know if anyone was thrown in there with the about best boy or girl band. I know with Brad not having the polls there available to put it out there. I probably, for my bias, because I met the Backstreet Boys, humble brag, Zach.
I forgot about that.
I sang the Ravens fight song at the time. You know, who let the dogs out? Who? What time is it? Game time. Any dogs in the house? Who? They're Giants fans. Ravens won 35-7.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I was 8. They were like, this
Don't
kid.
taunt him.
They're like, this kid's going somewhere. This kid's got talent. This kid has guts. So, yeah, I go down my memory lane of throwback songs. I was on a whole throwback playlist. It might have been before your time, Zach, but a song called Freak a Leak definitely was not meant to be heard when I was a kid. But did I get down to it? You're damn right I did. So, I'm trying to look at any other comments that we have at the moment because we're trying to see what's going to happen. Guess because before we go into like baseball and then have our
we have a sad lost puppy behind the scenes.
He's sad.
He's so sad.
He's a sad puppy.
He's so sad.
He's just a puppy.
He's just shaking his head in the back.
And we actually do have the studio pup in here.
Yeah, we do have the studio pup, but then we have a sad lost puppy in the.
I'll tell you what,
behind the scenes.
The guy behind the scenes could use a shot of Deep Eddy.
That's for sure.
He needs one, but he's not allowed to because he is going dry for this month.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Good kid, man. Good kid. And also shout out to Iron Rooster. Actually went there earlier. Get my mind right. When is it not good?
Great point.
Yeah. So it's fantastic. They got a couple other ideas up their sleeve. So we are going to share that with you guys as we go. But Iron Rooster, love them, appreciate them for all the support. We would not, believe me, we would be starving if it wasn't for them. And literally every game day, that's the place.
Yep.
Every time I'm up here, that's the place. So I am excited. And Laura, the puppy is not an actual puppy.
Mm-hmm.
He acts more like a baby than he does a puppy.
I'll look at him in the back, and he's just he wants.
He honestly, it's like in Billy Madison, the book, The Puppy Who Lost His Way. That's kind of what the person in the background seems like, the puppy that lost his way.
Mm-hmm.
He might. Oh, sugar. Sugar. Hey, we got some good kids. Should we just talk a little baseball? Do we want to keep talking
let's
about
talk
football?
baseball.
Let's talk baseball. We did our happy hour hot stove last night. We talked more extensively about everything. Corbin Burns press conference. He's a Diamondback. Stop traffic. He wanted to be near his family. Heard that. Santander still not signed. The news that Pete Alonso, the Mets are putting him on the clock for a deal. That's interesting. I worry for some of these free agents. You get a little bit now. You're getting a little bit stressed because now you got under a month until spring training starts. But for this conversation, where we're going to go, because I think it's a good conversation. Can we pull up that tweet, Zach?
The
that
top
one?
10?
Yes, please. So there's these top 10 lists that are being popped up right now, and I think it's a good time to talk about it. And this is with MLB Network's top 10 third baseman right now. And look, I cannot argue with number one. Jose Ramirez, he's a beast. And we had Joe Noga, who covers them on Cleveland.com, said that Jose Ramirez, what he means to that team, superstar. And he is a superstar. Rafael Devers, that dude is one of the best pure hitters in the game. Just absolutely can annihilate the baseball. Oh, Alex Bregman at 3. Manny Machado at 4. Austin Riley 5. Matt Chapman 6. Arenado 7. Muncy 8. Paredes 9. And Suarez 10. And look, this is nothing to take away from this group. It's a great group. And I know it might show a little bit of bias here, but I don't think it is bias, Zach.
Yeah.
What name is missing from that list?
Jordan Westburg.
And so, look, I'm looking at this, and I'm going, okay. Jose Ramirez, Devers, Bregman, Machado, Riley, Chapman. Okay, great. That rest of the list, I don't see why Jordan Westburg wouldn't be on that list, especially looking at the upside. Now, what those guys have done is consistently been the bigs, but Max Muncy's had his up and down moments, Zach. Like, he's had his struggles, still a talented player, but I think people are underselling Jordan Westburg, and I think that's also kind of what happened last year, Zach, where I think fans started to realize after he wasn't available just who really was the heart and soul of the Baltimore Orioles. And that was Jordan Westburg. And a guy you couldn't have asked for anything better from a player. Jordan came up with every big moment. Now I know he finished in 264 and 18 home runs, but keep in mind, he got injured. And that cut his really fantastic second season down. He was 107 games played. He missed a big chunk, 2 months. Came back, which I think he could have used a little bit more time, but he wanted to get back. But prior to the injury, man, he made the All-Star team. Going into the All-Star break, his worst month was, guess what? It was March. He had 9 at-bats. April, May, and June, 311, 278, 264. July, he hit 232. But then that's the last we saw of Jordan Westburg, going down right there. A guy that, to me, can play multiple positions, and I do think he's a guy in this list. I'm not saying he's got to be above 6 and higher, but we in agreement? Jordan Westburg should be as a complete player.
Yeah.
Complete. I think he's in this top 10 right now.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I think, and Jordan Westburg's a guy that when he's someone you can't look at stats for. Like you just can't. You can't only look at stats when it comes to Jordan Westburg, because how many times did players hide? All these guys that we talk to, every single one of them were like, "Hey, when the offense started dipping, when we lost Jordan Westburg, the glue to this offense, he was Mr. Consistency. He's when the game's on the line. Who do you want up? It's Jordan Westburg. He's big situation. Who do you want the ball hit to? It's Jordan Westburg." It's one of those guys where he never makes it flashy. It's never going to be the flashy play. It's never going to be the, 700-foot home run, whatever it may be. But the dude's going to get it done. He's going to get the job done every single time. It's going to be moments where, hey, we need a big hit. We need to move the runner over, whatever it may be. Jordan Westburg's the guy who went up at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the season, it didn't matter the situation. When the stakes were the highest, it felt like the guy who the Orioles, when they were coming through, it was Jordan Westburg who got the opportunity. So, not taking anything away from any of these guys, but it's hard for me to make a top 10 list. And I know the last time, I believe it was MLB Network made one of these earlier this offseason, Ryan O'Hearn even commented on it and was like, did you guys forget about Jordan Westburg? Because, I'll say
yes.
this, Isaac Paredes had a 2.7 WAR last year in his full season. Westburg had a 2.4 and played significantly less games because of injury. Some of these guys, it does genuinely feel like with Westburg, it's never going to be the flashy stats. He's probably never going to hit the 325. He's not going to hit the 40 home runs. He's probably not going to drive in 150, but he's going to consistently give you the best opportunity to win when he's on the field. Mm-hmm. It is very hard. And, hell, Ryan, how many times have we sat here during this offseason and people are like, well, why don't the Orioles go for a Bregman? Why don't you go for an Arenado? Why don't you go for one of these, infielders? And it's like, why would you want to take Jordan Westburg out of the lineup? Because he's the glue.
He is the glue. And right now, I know people can look at it. And by the way, when you get injured, it really halts all the momentum that you had. And yes, when Jordan came back, and I mentioned he came back early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He wasn't fully ready to go. And even when I got to talk to him going into the postseason, he's like, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. I'm here to battle. He didn't make an excuse. That's what I love about Jordan Westburg.
Never will.
But now we'll talk about this on the outside. Yeah, your wrist and you got to be able to hit. That affects you. That impacts you. Oh, and then by the way, we haven't seen live pitching in a long time. It's really hard to replicate that rhythm. Jordan Westburg would have been a guy that would have reached 25 jacks. He might have gotten to 30.
Yeah.
Like that's how good of a year he was having there. And so it's just recognizing. Now you're hoping, can he take the jump? But I'm going to bet that the 25, soon to be 26-year-old all-star is going to continue to rise his game. And it goes with the entire Orioles roster in general, Zach. The young players and the young core, if they continue to take that next step, this team's going to be very good. But the glue is Jordan Westburg. And I do agree about Mark Vientos, by the way. Great player. Very good player. Had a very good year for the Mets. Jordan Westburg, would have had probably a very similar year, maybe even better, potentially, right? Like potentially. Now, Mark only played 111 games, and he had 27 jacks in 111 games.
He's someone who's getting very underlooked on the
very underrated. Very underrated.
He honestly is one of the, everyone points to Lindor and Alonso. He is just as much of a reason why they went on that run.
No doubt.
He was unbelievable that whole year.
No doubt. And you know what, though? That number 3 name, Alex Bregman. I'm telling you, man. Alex Bregman, he is so good. And maybe for me having a little like man crush on that, he is a good player. And maybe because I got to see him when we were the same high school class, Zach. And so I got to watch Bregman when we were doing there's a showcase or whatever. And when I say this guy did a home run derby, got a metal bat, and he hit everything out, but it wasn't that they were miles and miles out of the park, which some of them felt like it. The consistent swing. The guy from the jump knew how to hit. And his numbers reflect that. Doesn't strike out a lot. Knows how to play his positions. We did a video yesterday, and then apparently Alex Cora alluding that he always thought Bregman would be a second baseman. And he still views him as a second baseman, gold glove type of player. I'm like, the Red Sox, it could use a second baseman. Whatever team's going to get him, it's going to be an impact. And there's a lot of impact players. I think that was the conversation where we didn't get into a ton last night, was how many impact players are still out there. And I guarantee you 1 or 2 or 3 or more of these guys that sign late are going to end up being potential X factors for some of these teams. Now, I worry more on the pitching side. I worry more on pitchers going in without, because pitchers feel like they got to play catch up. With hitters, you got to see live pitching, but you can get a certain amount of at-bats. With pitching, you're trying to build up to 6 innings of live game action if you're a starter. That's a lot. I think relievers have it a little bit better when it comes to if they sign late, because like Tanner Scott's another name still out there, but he wants the bag, a big bag.
I don't know what's going to happen with him. I really don't know where he ends up. I feel like there's been very little rumors about it too. Like like every few weeks you'll be like, oh, a few teams interested in Tanner Scott, then just goes radio silent for like 3 weeks, and then it's like, oh, Tanner Scott's still out there, and people are like, oh yeah, they're like, might be heating up, and you're like, okay, and then it goes radio silent. So maybe I wouldn't think he's waiting for Sasaki. Like I don't, unless he thinks that he's going to the Padres. Maybe the Padres are focused on Sasaki and Tanner just wants to go back there and he's going to wait for I don't know, but we'll see.
I don't know either. This whole thing is all over the place, but we are getting closer to baseball season, and we have a lot of great baseball content for all of you out there here. And if you would love to help support the channel, hit that, not only that like button, that certainly helps us, but hit that subscribe button and be a Rips Good Kid, be a Holy Shirts and Pants member. We're actually starting a couple of new chapters, I should say, some new content that are really going to be kind of one of a kind. So we're really excited about that. And actually, we had one of those earlier today, Zach, a little morning session. So we can tease a couple to that. Actually, our Holy Shirts and Pants know about a couple of them. We got a couple done, and we got more and more lined up for you. And then maybe we find a way to get down to spring training. Who knows? Who knows? But appreciate you guys hitting that like and subscribe button. I'm wondering, do we do call-ins today? And by the way, you like my shades?
I like them. They really go completely against your outfit.
This came with the Dunkin' Donut Ryan Cup, or the Ryan Ripken Dunkin' Donuts.
The glasses?
They gave me this as well.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, M&T Bank, the All for the Flock playoff rally was fantastic. The Marching Ravens, I can't tell you how incredible it is to have a marching band in general. And I even appreciate it more that the Ravens are one of those teams that have them. The energy was great. They played over and over and over again, which was dynamite from the jump. And then I got a chance to sit down, interview with Torrey Smith, friend of the show, friend of the program. He's great, but hopefully we got a lot more in store with M&T Bank. But they knew how to throw a party, I'll tell you that. And Poe was there.
Oh.
You got your photo with Poe.
It looked like a fun time.
It was. I know you were hurting.
That was at my peak. That was
peak Zach being hurt.
Yeah, that was. It was probably a little bit after my peak, but that was. Yeah, I woke up that day and was like, "Wow, I'm not leaving bed."
Yeah,
that was a tough one.
Yeah, it really was. Well, since we've missed this so far, I think with our timing and how things are looking, I think we should just continue on with our show and do our call-ins.
Mm-hmm.
And then if our guest that may or may not join us, and the other guest, Nick Moore, is a family man, so he's been caught up, which we get. He's a friend of the show and all of that. Actually, before we get to the call-ins real quickly, I want to touch on something a little bit more personal, and then we can pick it up.
Yeah.
I did want to address the stuff with Brian Mattis quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to get into the details on what all that happened. I'm sure some people saw the article. Baltimore Banner put it out.
Yeah.
Police found at the scene possible overdose is what they are concluding, and with the evidence being there. And I don't want to dive into all of that. It's a very sad situation. The things that I like to try to bring up are some things that I read up on. And I even remember I was messaging with Brian last year, just, messaging on social media, checking in. And always in hindsight, you can kind of get a feel. And I saw some comments in some articles, and one of them being the Banner, saying, he felt lost after, like he used to have it all. And I think a lot of people, for players, one thing why, Zach, you wonder when I talk about with guys, and why I'm always very cognizant, always to the point of not criticizing without knowing what's going on the other side. Players dedicate their lives to this sport, whatever sport that they do.
Yeah.
They put a lot of time and effort, and it becomes a part of their identity. And for a lot of guys, it is hard once it's done to keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their own ways that they handle it. And that's not just baseball, that's life, right? You were doing something for years. It could be in family situations, hell, it could be in divorces, whatever it may be. A change that was a part of your identity feels like you lose part of your soul. And the part with Brian, at least what I'm hearing, that was kind of the case. And he lost his path and he lost his way. And unfortunately, he's gone too soon. The mental health side is so important. And I want people to understand that it's okay once you get out of something to sit there and not know. And I'm an open book. So I just wanted to get this out on the table because I like to be transparent. When I finished my career, I sat there and went, what the hell am I going to do? What does that look like? All I've known is going to a locker room. I chased a dream. My dream's over. Now what? Who am I? Can I get that same feeling back of being in the locker room with the guys? Am I going to feel like I'm going to have that fulfillment? And some of those days you can have dark days. So I say this again, don't be afraid to speak on something if something's going wrong. Anybody, even in our community, the Discord, which I love, they talk about, you guys do a great job for our listeners talking about things in life. You should. And I encourage anyone, it's okay to talk about the path that you're on. And there's always a way to try to help. It might not seem that way, but there is. And all of us. So I encourage you, if you know someone, check in on the ones you care about. And on top of it, be a sounding board for someone that needs it in the moment, because you never know what can change that. And be open. Keep the perspective. And at the end of the day, we're all humans, no matter what anybody says at the end of the day. You can be a fan of another team. You can have any profession, but you are still human at the end of the day, and we all deal with similar things. So I wanted to touch on that real quickly. Said. So, and may you rest in peace. It's like I said, that Brian was so good to me in the short time, and I didn't get to play with him, but that's just the way he made you feel. And that's a guy that was dealing with so much that he felt like he couldn't get past it. And that to me is the real tragic part. So if you're new to the channel, let's pick up the energy again. Like and subscribe. If you're a channel member, we're opening up the call-ins now. So why don't we, if you guys are a channel member, you know the deal. I'm going to drop this link in the show notes. Or not show notes, my bad. I'm going to drop it on the community page on YouTube. So if you are a channel member, you can click that link and you'll be right in here and we'll be able to talk about whatever you want to talk about, I think, unless I mess this up. What just happened? There we go. Here is the link. Love Ryan. Here we go. And it is for our channel members, and it is out in the open. Appreciate you guys. So let's see. I guarantee you there's one guy from Arkansas that's going to show up.
Oh, I have a feeling. I just have a feeling.
Have a strong urge that he's going to do that. So that's what we got. That's what we got. No, we got a couple people already in. And Joe. Hey, it's gonna kill Joe. He wasn't the first.
Wow.
Wasn't the first.
Nope.
You think you know somebody.
You think you know someone.
Okay, we'll let it slide. But who do we have hop in first here?
I think we will K-Mac.
K-Mac. All right, K-Mac.
Gents, how are we?
We're good. Are you good? Eyes forward.
I am stuck in traffic because that's what Northern Virginia does.
Yep. Well, you're in a parking lot, which is
Love it.
Which is 295. You're in a parking lot. You're in a standstill, but be careful, please.
Yes.
How you doing though, K-Mac? How you feeling?
I'm good. I know the last time that I talked to you guys, I was nervous in traffic, and now I'm feeling much better in traffic because the traffic that I was in the last time that I talked to you guys was on the way to M&T.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome time. Getting the chance to be there. That was the first playoff game I've ever attended. Energy was amazing. Got to meet Governor Moore, which was kind of cool. And then I was in the seats and didn't realize until like late in the game, I was sitting next to Preston Smith's mom. So got to talk football with her, and obviously just all of her Steeler stuff. But she was super nice. It was really cool to like just get the chance to experience that. But a lot of good energy obviously going into this next game, and hopefully they approach the game the same way with just run heavy approach and don't deviate away from what worked for you the first time against the Bills, because they smacked them in the first matchup, doing exactly what they need to do.
They did. And the Bills are definitely healthier on defense, and I want to make that point. But what I love, and it's not just, it wasn't the Ravens' sense for this, because I'll explain with the Bills. The Ravens, they said, screw it. We don't care. We don't care if we're going to run. And even seeing that Charlie Kohler clip, hey, everyone and their mama knows we're running the ball here. And guess what? We're dictating this, not the other way around. The other case I was going to say, the Buffalo Bills, Zach.
Yeah.
James Cook ran the ball a ton. Josh Allen ran. He tucked it and ran. There's no shame in trying to prove to anybody that you need to prove that you're a passer. I think fair to say, K-Mac, Lamar has proven that he can beat teams through the air. And I think he's finally realized, I don't need to beat that narrative. I just got to find a way to win playoff games. And just so happens, Zach, they got two of the best runners happen to be in their backfield with Lamar and Derek. So, yeah, K-Mac, I'm with you, man. Don't reinvent the wheel. It's going to be cold. I don't know if you heard. I'm going up there in my Cadre cashmere leggings for the game.
Make sure you invest in like the hot hand stuff. I loaded myself down with those for the last game. That was a lifesaver.
No.
I will say this. If you're going to put on the foot warmers, make sure you have them positioned well, because I did a lot of walking around in Baltimore, and they blistered the bottom of my feet because they were in the wrong spot. That's a learn from my mistake, and then that'll be something that you can do the easy way. But it's those cold weather games are when you're sitting in the seats and you're like just still for a long time, man. It'll get you. It'll get you a little bit.
Yeah, the cayenne pepper, I'll tell you, you just didn't have the cayenne pepper. Q would be disappointed. I wonder. Yeah. I'm curious now. I am. I'm like kind of want to try it, but I think feet warmers are definitely the more reliable option.
I don't know that I would take the same risk. Q might be a braver man than I am, but share some pictures and stuff too. I got lucky with the game and got some great shots from the sidelines, but make sure that you share some as well so we can all enjoy being there through your eyes.
I will, and I'll for channel members too, I will shoot out some content. Make sure that everyone knows that it's okay up there. And I'm excited to see what the whole Bills Mafia and Buffalo is all about. I've heard tremendous things. I heard it's a ton of fun, very passionate fan base. I know a lot of people can get worked up on social media, but the people up there, I'm really excited. I've heard a lot of great things. I just hope that on Sunday it's going to be a Baltimore day, and then we are seeing the Ravens advance to a second straight AFC Championship game. Hey, K-Mac, any final words before I let you go or let you sit? Where are you?
Keep yourself away from any folding tables. I understand that that's a dangerous place to be when you're up there.
Yeah, honestly, I don't need to go through a table personally. I mean, for the people, for the show.
People want it.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
conflicting reports now.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned, K-Mac. But hey, appreciate you. Enjoy the traffic. It's so much fun. How you are enjoying that Northern Virginia traffic is how I feel about the Baltimore-Washington Parkway. But I have a way worse outlook on it, and you can ask Zach about that one day. So appreciate you, K-Mac. Be good. Be safe. All right.
See you, boys.
Appreciate you, K-Mac.
All right. Who we got in the chamber next? Rick?
Yeah, we got Rick.
What's going on, boys?
How we doing? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, what do you got for us?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about, Lamar?
I mean, everyone else is talking about Lamar.
Yeah, I just think he's really the game's really slowed down for him.
Yeah,
it's going to be a real big test if he can get this victory on the road with all that noise. Hopefully, the rookies don't get the yips on him. So I really just think the game has really slowed down for him now. You could see that last week when he was pulling that ball out at the mesh point and crashing T.J. Watt down like he was.
Oh, that was naughty. It was naughty to watch. That should be criminal, illegal. What he was doing the Ravens did on the ground in general. You know, Kyle Van Noy even said, he's like, I would just be embarrassed. Like I think it's one of those things as a defensive player. That's the one thing that they said they'd rather have 1,000 yards through the air, but when a team just says we're going to run down your throat, just absolutely rips the soul out of you. And we want more of that, though, Rick. I mean, we're talking about the rookies or people getting nervous in these big games. You know, he's not going to be nervous. It's going to be 22 right behind him or right next to him. That dude is ready for another 25 carries.
Yeah, hopefully it's a repeat of that first Buffalo game. Get him going often and early and often, or however you want to word it.
I'm hoping, man. I am praying. I think it's gonna be a tight game, though. Is that your sense on this?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to be a lot tighter than the last time we played them. I'm sitting right about 28-21, 28-24 is what I'm thinking. I'm hoping anyhow.
Yeah,
I hope we're the higher score.
Yeah. Well, in Vegas is thinking the Ravens right now. Ravens are 1-point favorites as we talk here. So and if for some odd reason, the Chiefs were to lose, sure,
man, would that be something?
Everyone will know before that game, right? So it's going to be.
Sir.
I mean, Zach, I'm afraid what would
Oh, that would be unbelievable. It's hard for me to even.
It's not going to happen.
Vision it, though.
Not going to happen. Ravens got to win. Ravens win. Who cares what else happens here? What else you got besides that? I look great on your screen in the background.
Not much really. I'm just hoping the cold weather don't affect us too much. You know, it's going to be loud and it's going to be cold. So that's why I don't see any field goals. I mean, I may be wrong, but that's why I'm thinking 28-21 probably. I'm hoping. You know, it's all going to be about getting off to a fast start and stopping Josh Allen, of course. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Josh Allen, pretty good player. Start fast, play confidently, play loose, and it's going to be cold. Rick, you got any advice for me then? K-Mac gave me some advice for the cold weather.
Just bundle up, big guy. Bundle up.
Put some cayenne pepper in the leggings. That's what
them hand warmers, they're unbelievable. Get you some of them little hand warmers that you break open. Yeah. I'm sure you're familiar with them.
Yep. I got to ask. I think Rocco put cayenne pepper down his leggings one time, so we'll ask him how that worked for him.
I don't think I go that route. I used to hunt. A couple pairs of socks, layer up, get you some of them hand warmers, maybe get you a little something for the flask, antifreeze.
A little warming the body from the inside, warming the soul. It's like
a little toddy for the body.
Toddy for the body. There it is. We need to get that on the shirt. Speaking of that, we have some merch that we got in the works, by the way. But Rick, don't tell anybody I said that. All right, Rick. We'll appreciate you, man. Be good. And we're going to have the pregame show Sunday. So I'm sure hopefully we'll see you then. But I'll give you some updates from good old Buffalo.
All right, boys. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, Rick. Good kid.
Good kid.
Good kid. Good kid. You know who's also a good kid? Not number one this time, though.
Not number one, but he made it. He made it.
He made it. The more you know with Mr. Arkansas Joe.
Hello. How we do?
Hello,
Joe.
Joe.
I was driving, kids. I was driving. Sorry.
Appreciate it.
Be safe. Be safe.
So we made it to the doctor's office, so it's all good.
Well, good. So you got the doctor's office. You're getting taken care of. So before you hop in there, what you got for us?
We are 29 days from first pitch college baseball.
Ooh.
It's going to be insane. Razorbacks come in preseason top 5, top 3 pitching class, 4 All-American, SEC All-Americans, and we all know the SEC is the best conference in America. Isn't that right, Ryan?
Look,
I'll give it in baseball.
In baseball,
it's not even close.
It's not even close.
Joe, I think you agree with this. SEC is more of a powerhouse in baseball than football.
Baseball, by far, I will give that all day to the SEC. As a top to bottom, not even close. It's just no longer that in football because everyone gets to get paid now.
Yeah.
And I just think that, just saying, people disrespected the Big Ten and Arizona State. Who would have thought? But Texas's biggest win was not in the SEC. How about that? Think about that. Their biggest win besides Arizona State was Texas A&M. I digress. Joe, but I'm excited. It's going to be a great time. I know you're picking Tennessee to win it all in the College World Series this year. But what else you got on your mind?
Yeah, go screw with that bullshit, Ryan.
You know what? I know how to press the buttons, Joe. But
Van Horn has preseason press conference, and he basically said boys are hungry because they don't like how the last 2 seasons have ended. They haven't made it out of the regionals, haven't made it to Omaha. Therefore, that's the same hunger the Baltimore Orioles are going to have coming into the season, and both teams are going to win the whole damn thing.
Hey, I'm all for it. Ravens, if the Hogs want to go down and win there, pick Suey, and then the Orioles win, I think a lot of people are going to be happy with that. A lot of people be happy.
Last thing, thank you for the mention earlier in what you were saying about Brian. It is very helpful to get help with mental health. And these ball players need something post-career if they're not going to find a career like you have or know their path. It can be very trying, and both football, baseball, even basketball and hockey need to really help out with that post-career stuff, because not everyone knows business. Not everyone gets a business degree like Nick has done from Harvard, or the other one, Dominic Foxworth, was the same way. He went to Harvard, got the business degree, does the media. It's not easy when you don't have a path.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that, Joe. And the other part is, and I mentioned that because it's the athlete's perspective on that, but this conversation too is not just for athletes. It's just anybody that has felt like their identity's been one thing. And I appreciate the kind words for me, but I'll be the first to say, I'm still trying to figure this out now. We've grown in a year, but this path hasn't been easy. And certainly for me, it doesn't feel the same as when I played. I love what I'm doing right now, by the way. Don't get me wrong. But I had my moments too. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. And I want people to understand it's okay to bring it up. There shouldn't be anything to be afraid of with that. There shouldn't. The worst case is feeling like you can't talk to anybody. That's the worst thing that can happen, because more times than not, you're going to find out that a lot of people might be having the same thought you're having.
Yeah.
And then you can work through that together and go, you know what? I'm not alone in this big old world. And some people might have the same exact problem or thing that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day. So appreciate it, Joe, and I appreciate you guys in the community continuing to try to help others, right? This is a safe space for people. We're here to help people. So, Joe, I appreciate you, man.
I'm going to go get these knees all gelled up with shots now. We're going to.
There you go.
Back to 100%, hopefully. We'll see.
Perfect. Go lube up the knees, Joe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Red Bull ain't gonna lift itself.
No, it's not that. It's cold.
Appreciate you, Joe.
You're good.
Insulated boots. Insulated boots is the way to go.
Insulated boots.
I work in a freezer, like my buddy Brian set up in the chat, who's in Alaska. But I worked in a freezer for 4 years, and insulated boots, non-steel toe. Don't get steel toe boots because that will not work out well for you. But insulated boots.
Yeah.
And wool socks.
And cashmere leggings, brought to you by Kadri Ismail. That's what we got next. Missile training leggings.
Yep.
All right, Joe, go get lubed up. See you, man.
Peace out, Joe.
Good kid.
Good kid.
Good kid. And we got one more good kid.
Yeah.
He's all the way across the pond.
All the way across the pond.
Very good kid. Big fan of the show, big fan of the program, and big hater of Rocco DeSangro.
Love it.
British Raven. Nick.
Hey, guys.
How's it going, Nick?
Hi, Nick.
How we feeling?
All good over here.
Yeah.
10 o'clock at night. Rocco isn't here. Life is good.
Yeah. Life is good, man. Well, hey, talk to me. What's on your mind here? Is it's Thursday night? We're getting closer to the game in a couple days, 3 days, almost exactly 3 days, almost 72 hours till kickoff. Getting close.
Close, right?
Calm before the storm. How calm are you, Nick?
The heart rate is a solid 69.
Nice. Good. Right? That's
how
good.
It has to be, right?
Yeah. It's good in my eye.
You know what raises that heart rate?
Rock.
Watching that Lamar Jackson touchdown where he finds Justice Hill at the end of the first half.
Hey, how about all the reactions too? Like Eric DeCosta's face in the background.
I can without a doubt say I had the exact same reaction as John Harbaugh, where I was like, nothing to say, Lamar, like throw it away. And I'm like, stop running around, Lamar, like throw it away, Lamar. And then you have the Lamar, what are you? Oh, never mind, touchdown. Oh, okay. Like, and you just sit there and you're like, why did I ever doubt this man? Why did I ever doubt that he was going to get it done?
Yeah. Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
See, the thing for me is that makes it worse is my feed is always 2 to 3 seconds delayed to what you guys get. So the whole Discord was losing their mind about what was happening, and I was just sat here like.
Sometimes you got to put the phone down. Love the group. I do it with my friends too. If we're like watching something, actually, I was talking with my sister Nick the other night. And it was the Commanders game, the Commanders-Bucks game. And she goes, oh, my gosh, it hit the upright. And I'm like, what? It's like, oh, you saw it. Nothing happened. I'm like, okay, well, so it hit the upright. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like so it was a little bit of a, I guess I knew the fortune. I knew the future.
Yep. That's the life of a British sports fan.
Yeah, but hey, you're number one in our book over there. What else? Talk to me about, obviously, Lamar gets the heart rate going on the touchdown throws. The Ravens are playing the Bills. Yeah, what else are you thinking here, Nick?
I am feeling an Ardarius Washington big hit.
Oh, tell me about it. It feels like every single week we're getting one of those. He had one last week.
Yeah.
Caught it, but big hit.
He's making plays every week.
Dude, it is so fun to watch. Like, honestly, that's why with this Ravens team compared to last year, it's like you knew like the dogs, like the guys who were beasts, and they showed up every week.
Yeah, I saw, kind of what you're talking about with the big hit. Saw a screenshot from a Steelers fan page, and it's Freiermuth catching the ball about half a foot away from the first down line, and you just start barely seeing our Darius come into frame 5 yards away. And the caption was, clearly our tight end got the first down in this situation, correct?
No.
Because that little 5'8", 190-pound frame is coming in with a lot of business behind it.
Dude, he's a fire plug.
Yeah.
Like it's a guy that I'm a big guy. I'm 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
If he hit me, I think
he'd whoop your ass.
He would.
Yeah.
He would.
You ain't built for that.
Hey, you know what? Basketball court, though, I'll bring it. But on the football field, my ass getting whooped.
I bet he could do a 360 dunk with the athleticism.
Oh,
I don't care that
I'm
he's
not doubting.
Oh, no, when you just brought up basketball, suddenly I was like, even though he's 5'9", I could so see him doing like a 360, just insane.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you what, growing up, watching some of those runs when my dad played, some of the Ravens guys would come over and some names that you wouldn't remember that maybe didn't make the biggest impacts on the field, except Tony Banks, quarterback for the Ravens when Trent Dilfer took over. Tony could ball. Different story for a different day. Nick, what else? What you have any advice for me going to enemy territory, cold weather?
So I would say invest well in your base layer. So an undershirt, leggings, cashmere, our friend Q, but also socks. I mean, make sure you can contain that heat wherever possible.
Contain that heat.
And one tip that I always use, I always tape off the end. So if you like have a little sleeve, I always tape the sleeve to my person.
Oh, I like that. I'll be honest, I'm not going to say this on air. I had a different thought when you said what you said, but I agree. Insulation, keep it warm.
If it works, it works. 69 is for everybody.
Warm. Keep yourself warm. Keep yourself warm.
Use your body heat and science for you.
Yes, and then maybe I think D. Betty might make a trip with me up there. Oh, what cup do we have right there?
It's on the mug.
That is a Dr. Now Zaradin. Hello, how y'all doing?
How y'all doing? How you doing? That's phenomenal.
Love it.
Dr. Now is one of my secret heroes of the world.
Love that.
I have a signed book back there. It's great.
Yeah. You get a lot of
I was going to say, your background is awesome.
Yeah.
It's very convoluted, isn't it? It's got just about everything that I enjoy.
Yeah, and I love it. I love them.
Lots of things.
Just when you take it all in, it's just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, over there we have signed wrestling belts, which maybe one day I'll pull them out.
Oh.
I think we need to have a segment when we have our call-ins.
Yeah.
Like we're adding more segments to this program. Like we're actually, Nick, in the process of working on making food segments in here. And then my mom, Kelly, we're going to do cocktails with Kelly. We're getting that situated as well. But coming in and we're going to make food here.
Mm-hmm.
But also I'm thinking like, let's take a tour. Like, it used to be back in the day, there was like MTV Cribs and you'd show people the cribs. Maybe is something playing off of our guests showing us their backdrops, what we got. Like there's something there. I don't know the word. Like, you know what I mean?
I want a tour of, I'm just going to say it, of like peak workday, like what's going on in Joe's truck.
Oh my goodness.
The chaos of it. That'd be incredible.
That would be something.
Up as Joe says, I'm out on that one. Joe, it's too late. You're showing us.
So we'll just have Nick, because I would love to see the stories behind it. There's stories behind it. That's why we got to do that. So
you want to know how long that would probably take?
How long?
Well, I'm in a few autograph groups, and I once did a video showcasing half of my wrestling autograph collection, and that took 15 minutes. And you can't even see the wrestling autograph collection behind me.
Oh.
It's actually in a folder here, like off to my side. There are two.
Nick, I'm learning so much more about you.
I love that.
Yeah.
By the day, by the minute.
I'm a nerd.
I love.
And you know what? Because you know what I love too, Nick? From the beginning that you've come on, your personality of who you are just keeps showing more and more. And you're comfortable. If you were here, you could be, we're actually trying to use the rest of the studio. One of these days, we're going to do like a live studio thing here. We're going to clean this up. You can sit down. Rocco can stand next time we have him as well. Like that won't change. Things like that won't change.
Yeah, I mean, that's a given, right? Rocco.
He's a good kid. But anything else?
Yeah, true.
except Steelers week, and any other day of the week that ends in Y. Nick, anything else that we can that you got to say before we let you go?
All I want to say is the Bills aren't as great a run defender that the Ravens are. So let's pound that rock.
Pound it, baby. Hey, don't get cute. Keep it simple. Even Roquan, people took that personally of saying, we just got to do what we do. It's simple. Saying about stopping their team. Well, hey, no, it's simple. Do what you need to do for the Baltimore Ravens. Run the ball, be physical, play your brand of football. I think Baltimore is going to have a second consecutive trip back to the AFC. If not, then shirts and pants, we're going to have a whole different conversation, Nick. But I'll keep you updated on my trip up to Buffalo. And I'm excited, my friend. I will talk to you soon, okay?
Absolutely. Stay warm. Enjoy.
I will. Appreciate you, Nick.
Appreciate
Thank
you, Nick.
Love it.
I love talking to Nick. I love talking ball with Nick.
I do too. We got some great people.
Yeah. We also have our sad puppy just
And
shaking his head.
We still have our
behind
sad
the screen.
puppy. The puppy that lost his way. The puppy that lost his way.
Give us a thumbs up and come on the show.
He doesn't have to.
Oh, he's giving the thumbs up. You want to come on? Thumbs up?
Do you want to? Thumbs up?
We're bringing him on.
Okay. You're muted. You're muted.
I know. I like it that way.
A lot of people like it that way. Hey, our sad puppy. That let me find it. But hey, you know what, Rock? We'll have it scheduled for a different time. There was a great guest, obviously, that you were going to introduce if it worked out. But this is just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
We'll make it happen. We will definitely make it happen. Lock it in, and yeah, go from there.
He's a good kid. Rock, you're a good kid. I don't care what they say about you.
It legitimately 10 chat. Like Rocco joined. The chat took 10, just a straight jump, and it was all these people be like, I knew it.
Yeah, let me see
all my fans, all my loyal fans that love me so much.
They do.
Yeah. Rocco, no one else gets this reaction. Gets the people going. Like you.
The puppy.
I did not know what just popped on the screen at first until I saw that. I was like, what? I thought you were just racked.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, what are we about to see?
It's a good book. It's a good book. There's some other good photos here. I was a little afraid of what could have popped up, but I did just type in the puppy who lost his way, Billy Madison.
That's what I felt like. I was going through it.
But
we know. You're a guy that wears your emotions on your face. Not in your sleeves. It's just on your face.
That's why I could last in a locker room. I'd be fine.
No,
if I got pissed off, I'd tell everyone to, eat shit.
You go, I'm fine, and then you just have the
Does my voice get that high?
I was not expecting that.
It's kind of in between what I think Kevin would do and what Rocco would do.
That's unbelievable. Oh my God.
You're a good kid, Rock. Hey, well, we had a good show. We missed you here.
I just want to point out to everyone that legitimately for the last hour and 15 minutes, Rocco has been behind the scenes, and every time you look down, he's just sitting there in the corner going.
It's almost like
he was so sad.
It's like looking down. And then he'll look up, and then he'd go to the corner for a second, and he'd be like over here, and then he'd just look at the camera.
Rocco, we appreciate you.
And then would do this, and just stare, and then shake his head.
Rocco also likes taking the blame for things that he did not need to take the
there's no blame.
Rocco did everything he could have, and then somehow Rocco was like, I just can't believe this. I can't believe I did. And we're like, Rocco, you are not the one. So Rocco,
I am the one.
Get off the one back.
A little bit of a George Michael Bluth walk. Yeah, that's from Arrested Development. That's a little bit. It's a good show. It's a very good show. Rocco, who was your favorite boy band or girl group band?
Growing up or now?
Both.
growing up, without a doubt, it was Backstreet Boys to the point where I'm going to show you something that's never seen the internet before and probably should never see the internet, but it's pretty, could be used as blackmail if I wanted it to be. But you know what? I'm done. I'm done living scared. I'm done living in the shadows. I'm going to show you guys, and it might show up backwards, but it's a really solid video. It's me and my buddies, and this was like probably college years. So like, yeah, it was. I hope we don't get demonetized for that for dropping a little Backstreet Boys.
You know what? It's well worth it.
Worth it for that. Yeah. So that was. We thought we were, we were just being like dummies. It was a complete joke, and we sent it to our friends, and that was supposed to never see the light of day. But you know what? We did it, and it's really never been talked about since till this day. So it's pretty bad.
First off, great song. How you looked back then. I'm not one to judge because I some of my old photos are woof. That was one hell of a look for you there, buddy. On Throwback Thursday.
It was the fade I was rocking with at that point in time, and it was just not the best look. So, yeah, yep.
You're a good kid. That's something Zach will never forget.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a thing.
The chat will not forget. Our community will not forget. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Don't leave us and become a part of the channel member. That's also what's great is our community has learned to love and hate our whole group and Rocco, which has been a very fun ride throughout this process here. But Rock, all good. We'll get things sorted out in the future.
Is it bad that I still have hope right now? And I'm just hoping, and I hold on to the last second, and that's usually how it happens. But I will say this: I'm not going to say who we did plan on having on today, but I will say it's a phenomenal person, does a lot in the community, and we'll have them on eventually. This was again, little miscommunication on my part, and I take full responsibility for it. But we'll lock it in. It'll happen. It's great group they work with over there, and
that's good. I'm done telling you it's not your fault. It was your fault.
It was my fault. It was absolutely my fault.
So it was tough to watch.
And Rock, on the way out here, I'll give you a nice hot pick of me. It's 10th grade year. What do you think? Who did it better? Who's a better?
Oh my gosh,
that's a hot pick right there.
Yeah, there you go. Are those frosted tips, Rip?
No, dude, that was actually after a basketball. So, by the way, when we played this high school basketball game, we weren't allowed to shower we were away. And so you just put your clothes back on. So I'm just in my school clothes, just sweaty mess.
Yeah.
We did get the dub, though. We did get the dub.
How many did you drop in that game? I know you had a couple 40 burgers growing up and playing some ball. Was that one of them?
I think I had 20. I think it was 23, and I think I was one rebound away from a double-double. I think it was like 23 and 9, something like that.
There you go. The fact that you remember that's impressive. Number one. Number two, that's a hell of a game.
It's
and
on
number
there.
Three.
I was gonna say, I think on the article he got that from it puts it in the.
I think it's in the article.
There you go. Look. Sorry. Well, and number three, I'm gonna say on top of that, I feel like this is a mystery, and I don't know if you've talked about it before, but how can one have such blonde hair growing up, and now there's not an ounce of blonde in your hair right now? You've gone to the dark side, quite literally. So how does that happen, Rip? What are you even the same person? Are you an imposter? What's the deal here?
I'm gonna start a rumor that he's dyeing his hair.
Yeah, so I think he was doing frosted tips or blonde hair when he was younger, or he's doing it now. He's doing Nivea for men.
Okay.
Yeah, we know who it wasn't against Mel.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Basketball powerhouse.
There's a chance if I didn't go to stay in high school there, Loyola was one of the schools in McDonough. Side note.
If you would have gone to McDonough, from Gilman gone there?
There was a time where it was a conversation.
I feel like that would be
I love the high school rivalries. I just love everything about this state, how it's where'd you go to high school? Oh,
yeah, it's
you went to Gilman, you went to Blakefield, fine. Like, I hate you. It's like, great. It's great. It's unbelievable.
It's how it is. It's how we're raised.
It's all like, I love it. I think it's like, it's a big time Maryland thing.
Yeah. And on the last one, yes, this is how it used to be. They obviously can't teach this, Rocco. This is peak me. But yeah, I mean, pretty adorable.
Yeah. So, like, first of all, what happened to that kid? Because smiled a lot, blonde hair, eating as well, not always in cutting season. And now you're the exact opposite.
I just know that's the kid who had his skin cut off his hot dogs.
That actually was.
Like, that was prime. The skin was coming off the dog. Like, I feel like that was peak, no skin on dog.
Dude, that kid is unreal. Unreal. Hey,
You're
I'm not
a little menace, man.
You know what? I kind of was for different ways. But I think it turned out okay. Somewhat okay. Someone asked me on a side note, Rocco, I had someone ask me, what do I do to snap? What was my pregame ritual in Norfolk to snap losing streaks? I was like, whoa, what do you know? But I'm a kid.
That ritual was nuts, man.
Yeah. See, we need to, Zach, do you have pictures like this?
Oh my gosh. All right. Let me
or
do
show and tell. At
yeah,
this
let me do some investigating.
And we appreciate everyone. At the end of the show here, we like to try to just keep it light and have fun, you know. As Bubba Sparks would say, get it right, get it tight. So we're getting it right now with reliving on a Throwback Thursday. I listened to so many throwback songs from the 2000s today and 2010. I went back in time. It was phenomenal.
Trying to find a old picture of myself that I can let's see if my mother's ever sent me. I feel like every time we do this, she sends me something that she's like, put this on the screen. And I'm like, absolutely not. But
You should.
Let's see if she's
Laura, I didn't need to know this fact.
okay. Wow. Well, I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
It does. I just didn't want to. I just don't want to think of that. Hey, you know, show off that hairline. Hairline the whole life, huh? I can't say that my hairline is screwed. One of us is going to come out of this okay. I guess it's going to be you, Zach. Do you have a photo?
No, well, this was directed at me.
I know that's what I'm saying. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, it's literally it's people think that I have a receding hairline. The moment I was born, I just had this thing. They were just like, we're just going to give you the 38-year-old dad hairline from the jump. I do have a photo though.
But you have a lot of hair.
I know. It's not a bad thing.
I know. That's what I was trying to say.
I think we're just on. We're agreeing.
We're agreeing to disagree.
Yeah.
Who's got the worst hairline on the show, and why is it me?
It's not you.
I know who it is. I just was trying to be nice.
I still got a good amount of hair. It's not that. It's just high.
Yeah, I get the little baby hairs. It's unfortunate. I really need a haircut. Got to go see my guy, Ivan, over at Be More Cuts on Eastern Avenue. He's the man. Cuts it up nice.
Yeah, you look good. And they say, you know, shorter hair is supposed to be better, you know, in general.
Yeah. I feel like I got one too many fades, and that's why my hairline's the way it is right now.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why.
And I got it. Here we go.
You got it now? Houdini?
Yeah, this is for Halloween. A little we'll do it in the I guess celebration of the Ravens.
Oh boy.
Tony Siragusa.
Oh, dude.
Hey, Rocco. It's in Canton.
It's in Canton?
Oh, that's
yeah,
why I was in Canton.
Rumor has it you haven't been back here since.
Oh my gosh. Maybe if she's start inviting me again. Rocco stopped inviting me out.
No, I didn't. Listen.
The group chats of us with you guys going back and forth, just Canton question mark.
All right. God damn it. All right, I'm going to show this because my mom just sent it to me.
Yes.
I was really hoping my mother would not send this one.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
This one is one of my early school pictures. Oh my gosh. All right, here.
Come on. This is what it's about here on our Rocco.
What?
Sorry.
Did you just throw a fart?
No. No. It would be much louder than that if I did.
Goodness, here we go. No, this is not you.
That's me.
Dude, you're definitely like in
Time
the
out.
principal's office all the time. You look like a really bad kid. Like, you look like the kid who taught all the other kids how to say the F word in like elementary school.
Okay.
I think it's identical.
I have questions. Also bringing back turtleneck season.
I know. Well, so that's like my parents always say that I look British in this. I look like a proper British man.
Also,
dude, I got a good one. I'm gonna send you guys, but stand by, but because you'll have to pull it up, Zach. But this one's good.
Just send it to me.
I can't get over this one. Looks like the Omen 3. You do look like you might. Yeah, I don't know if I saw you, like, say I was walking, Zach. I'm walking and I look to the right and you're against this stone wall or brick wall, and I turn and you're just staring at me like this. It's a horror movie. Like, I am going to die. Like, something's wrong with that kid.
Yeah.
But obviously,
Nancy,
you had an adorable son. He's
Mom, appreciate the picture. This was the one I was
phenomenal.
looking for.
Phenomenal. Oh my goodness gracious.
Send you guys a good one.
I think we need to add this. This might have to be.
This might be a throwback Thursday.
We're at
thing.
our throwback picks. I think we're doing that. I'm in. I am in. This is. What do I need to know?
Oh, dude, you guys want to see? It's me with the Maryland basketball team when I was like.
All right, hold up. Before Rocco, while you do this, I have to pull this up now. It's a throwback of Joe. Joe just sent one in the
way.
Oh,
wait a minute, that's Joe.
That's Joe.
I can see it.
Joe, why do you kind of look like the face is the same? Like,
It is the same.
Joe. It's
It
like
is
if
Joe.
you would have showed me that, and they're like, which subscribe? I'd be like, that's Joe.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, this is my favorite picture of all time.
That soft smile of Joe right there. That's the one we see when he hops on before he says something. That's it.
It's when he sees Rocco. He knows Rocco's there, and he's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about to roast that.
That's it.
That's when.
Zach, I'm sending you a few. You just pick your poison.
That's terrifying.
Oh, there it is. Yep, that's the one. Yep, you didn't even need to send. Oh, Jesus, Rocco.
Always gonna.
Oh my gosh, there's so many.
Hey, Coach Kai, good to see you. We had a full show. We're in our throwback Thursday moment, so we just posted photos of myself. Rocker showed a video. Apparently, we have some other dangerous things. Zach, and this is from our friend of the show, Community, Joe. Wow, Joe. Hey, you know what, man? You were a cute kid. You were a cute kid. You're a good kid. Were and still are a good kid. What am I afraid that you have in the background there, Zach? Oh, what is timeout? Timeout. I wish I could zoom in the camera here. What the hell is this?
It's a senior picture. Oh, dude, I had the ice picks for the sideburns. I had I don't even know if you could call it a fade. I just had like a one all around. And yeah.
That's not a fade.
Definitely not a fade.
I have to go to this.
Looks like I caught a fade.
Yeah, we're making this into a segment now. Our throwback picks, that's what we're going to have on Thursdays moving forward. And for those that are just tuning in, we had a full show.
The most hair I've ever had in my life, man. Dude, I was in middle school here. I looked like I was like 2 years old. I had a baby face my whole life, but this is Yeah.
Rocco's actually 17 in this picture.
Might have been seventh. That might have been
Rocco's
6th or 7th grade there. That was without a doubt 6th or 7th grade. I don't think it was 8th.
This is when Rocco covered the Iron Bowl.
Yeah. Exactly. It was like 2 years ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I used to have bowl cuts like that. Well, yours
It wasn't a bowl cut, Rip. My parents never put a bowl on my head and buzzed around it. That is yes, you did have a bowl cut.
I put a bowl around my head though, but I did have a bowl cut. I mean, come on, dude. That's pretty close.
Somebody did. Somebody had to.
No, they just cut. Yeah.
Yeah. You just asked for it. You said you went to the barber and you said, just mess up my hair. Just mess me up. Why were bowl cuts a thing? Who the hell in the right mind was like, this looks good?
I think it humbles you.
Yeah, I think it does too. I think somebody like either was on mushrooms or looked at one too many mushrooms and was like, oh, this will make for a good haircut, and just decided, here you go.
I think it teaches you character. I think if you haven't had a bowl cut at some point in your life, I think there's something there. But
one more. We got one more.
Rocco?
No, from submitted.
We got a few in there in the chat. Oh, we got a few in the chat.
We got
in the Discord.
Laura.
No way. And I could see mom. I could see mama right there.
Yeah.
I can see it. I see that smile, and I've seen that look before. I've seen that look.
That's when the money line hits.
Yep, right there. It's like
when the money, hell yeah, that's
right
awesome.
there.
That is awesome.
Mama's getting paid. She's going, Mama's getting paid right there. Oh my goodness gracious. I love this, man.
You know what? I'm just gonna go through
them. Cora, oh my goodness.
This is awesome.
See, this is great. This is also for those that are wondering, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. But this is our Discord for the Ryan Ripken Show channel. I will put that
British Raven. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
When was this photo taken?
Looks like it was taken in like 13, 14. Oh my God, man. That's incredible. One thing about Nick, he's always going to show up ready for battle. So
yeah.
So it makes perfect sense. Prepare for battle.
It does. It does. It does.
This is the greatest. This might be the greatest pick.
Yeah. It's incredible.
This is how I imagine Nick standing in front of the television before a Ravens game. Just ready for anything.
Ready to roll.
Is there a chance that Nick reenacts this? I feel like everyone, if they try to reenact it, it would be a little bit different now. I think like we try to do our first grade pictures. Like Cora, if we tried to do that, and Rocco, Zach, Laura, it might be different. Even Joe. I feel like that one right there. I think Nick could reenact that one.
Yeah.
But very long time ago, my granddad was a warrant officer in the British Army. He was finishing up his service, and I had to dress accordingly.
That's awesome.
Love it.
That's so cool.
Love it.
And thank you, everyone who shared in the chat. That was incredible. Really awesome. I love this community. This is awesome.
And this is why we do it, right? So I'm actually putting into the group because at the end of the day, well, I'm not saying the actual outfit, but I mean, I just feel like you can reenact something there. It just feels like it, right?
It's incredible.
We got Stack adding one as well.
Woo, man. Stack without a beard?
I know.
I'm surprised he didn't have it
awesome.
come out of the womb.
Just that luscious beard.
Look at the truck in the background, too. He's living it up.
Oh, yeah.
That's phenomenal.
I think we just saw living. I love it. These pictures are incredible.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I love these.
And the tie, it's looking good.
It's looking real good. Damn, I wish I could. That's a nice suit.
It is.
That's a really nice suit.
Yeah.
That was fresh.
I was gonna say I got like a tux when I was a kid, and it was the best I ever looked. I looked like a straight beast.
Oh, and the truck was in Stacks. So it's the Mork and Mindy mobile.
Ooh.
And then Rick.
Oh, there. Look at the pose.
You know what? I can even see Rick in this.
Of course.
Living saying Easter time. That looks like an Easter. That was an Easter. That was a nice Easter suit. Actually.
That was
a fantastic Easter.
So is Rick wearing a blanket on the top right there? Is that are we underneath the covers? Very photogenic, by the way.
Yeah,
like
incredibly photogenic.
Very photogenic. I want to actually see if I can find on. I know we ran over, but this is why we do it on our show some days, right? It's we are so community driven here, and I just posted the free Discord here. Free Discord. Join the community, Ryan Ripken Show. Obviously, to be a channel member, hit that subscribe. Rips Good Kids or Holy Shirts and Pants member. Look, all of it goes back into making this better for all of you. We have so much content that we have planned here for the show and for Ryan Ripken Media in general. It's going to be a fun 2025 with so much more happening in the future. So I'm excited. Trying to find the little picture of me on the way out here where I just looked like a little homie that just you couldn't have replicated it any better.
That's Rocco.
That's rock. Like
That's
that's Rocco's face when while he's driving right there.
Hold on, let me see if I can do it.
Yes.
Good kid, Rock. I don't care.
I love that there are 56 people still on.
Dude, look at my fresh ass Rugrats shirt too.
That is a nice ass shirt.
I would rock the hell out of that today.
Oh,
31
actually,
years old. Yeah.
Shout out my girlfriend. Look at the sick shirt I got.
It is sick. Oh no! Oh,
I can't really see it.
He
But...
says you've just buttered your last biscuit.
She knows you well.
Your last biscuit.
Good.
I love this shirt.
Oh goodness gracious! The Rugrats, man. One of these days we got to talk about some old childhood shows. By the way,
that's how I learned to tell time because of the Rugrats. My mom would say, I was like, how long? She's like, oh, 30 minutes. And then you have to you have to eat breakfast. And I was like, what's 30 minutes? And she's like, one Rugrats episode. I'm like, all right, cool.
So do you still think that?
Yeah. That's like when someone says, I'll be here in 30 minutes. I say, so one Rugrats episode.
You put on Rugrats, actually.
Yes, I do.
Like
Shout out to Tommy Pickles.
If like you're cooking something, and it's like bake for 30 minutes. You just throw on a Rugrats episode.
Oh yeah.
Tommy P, man. I'm glad there's adult humor in there that we missed. But I was actually on today, and maybe because it's Throwback Thursday as well, there was like dirty jokes from Shrek that you kind of missed. You're like, oh, that went right over my head. And Lord Farquaad, he has the massive castle. And it's, do you think he's over compromising for something else? And it's like, oh, interesting.
It's funny because you don't pick up on that kind of stuff until like you watch again and get older, and then you watch again and then get older and you watch again. And you're like, damn, I really missed that. Like some of the innuendos and everything else that you kind of pick up on. It's crazy. That's why, like, I understand why now certain shows or movies or whatever are rated the way they are. It's not because they're like, oh, you can't watch it and enjoy it if you're 13 years old. You might not understand it, but you might not understand. Like some of these movies I didn't understand when I was 17 or 18 and they were rated R and I was able to watch them. The stuff I do now. So it's like, I don't know. I get why it's restricted.
Let me, I got one more photo. Let me pull it up.
I'm loving the Throwback Thursday.
I do too. I think it's a part of our new thing. When I move, you move. Just like that. Ollie, we'll have a day when you were just a little baby puppy and you were a beast.
Just hanging out on the couch there. You see him in the corner.
He's just a pup. Just a pup chilling. All right, I will upload. Oh, that's a hot pic. You just can't teach it. It's okay if we see the other photos in the background. It was a message I sent with Lowther. It's the gif of me putting Nick as Jack Black and Anchorman punting Rocco off the bridge.
Nice.
You can see that in the back in a second. Let's pull this up. Yeah. Pretty damn good. It's hot.
Oh,
You don't know what's your tie there, bud.
You know what, Rocco? I was like 3.
Wow.
Maybe 4. So I'm saying it's the best dressed I've ever been.
That is very, very true, actually.
I don't know if you guys see me be 007 for a wedding a few years ago. My last year playing. Oh, I looked. Yeah. That was part of the Happy Friday videos.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna ask if it was. That's when you got the circular sunglasses on.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, you can't teach that. Brooks, this one actually I had from my memory. The other one I just Google searched myself and it popped up.
Imagine
Google search myself.
But that's also showing you that the privacy wasn't always there, you know? But yeah. Can't teach it, man. Can't teach it. One day, hopefully you can strive to be somewhat close, but you can never teach it. Well, guys, this was fantastic. This was fantastic. I appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you guys for tuning in. On the way out, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show will be back Sunday. Hey, Rocco, you know what keeps you warm?
What's that?
Cayenne peppers.
Yeah. What was the deal about you saying that I put them down my pants to stay warm? It's just simply not true.
You told us.
That's what you told us.
When?
Peppers
all the time.
Peppers and peckers. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Those are your words.
You said you do it before you go outside if the weather is anywhere under 65 degrees.
And you said anytime you just go out and hit can.
Mm-hmm. Just a lot of cayenne.
Mm-hmm.
A shit ton of cayenne.
I don't think I said that, but you know.
You know what? Sometimes you forget. But hey, let's cue the music. Oh, there it is. As always, here at the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night, have a great stinking weekend. Be back for the pregame show on Sunday. Enjoy divisional weekend round and go Ravens on Sunday in Buffalo.